Sounds good, buddy.
Awesome. All right.
What if I told you that I wasn't subscribed to you after all these years?
It wouldn't bother me. I'm not subscribed to anybody on my BulletBarry channel. I have another channel that I subscribe to people with for like the content I want to see, but when it comes to the BulletBarry channel, I don't know, there's something about it where I'm like, if I subscribe to someone who people don't like, it's just gonna, I don't know, just dumb stuff I can avoid. Did I ever tell you did I ever tell you about that time where I accidentally subscribed to a lesbian porn channel on YouTube?
On YouTube? How
You know
the
those
fuck
exist?
does that work?
Those exist. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
So I didn't mean to do it. I was at work. I was at Falcon, and we were.
How the fuck were you at work doing this?
So, what are you talking?
Sorry, I'm interrupting your story, but what?
So I'm at Falcon Northwest, and I was talking to this guy who's like a porn connoisseur. Like that's really what he's into, right? And we're sitting there chatting, and we're talking about how there's like porn hidden on YouTube, right? And a friend of mine was like, "Wait, what? There's no porn on YouTube." And I was like, "Dude, I can show you." And so I went and searched up a channel, and I showed him. And I don't know how it happened, but I ended up subscribing accidentally to that channel. And and like I didn't notice for like a day and a half, and a few subscribers were like, "Hey Barry, what's going on here? Why are you subscribed why are you subscribed to that lesbian porn channel?"
Jesus. So is it? I'm not gonna ask questions. I don't want to ask about your lesbian porn channel when we're like less than a minute into the fucking stream.
Yeah, like we just started streaming. Hello everybody, thank you for being here.
What's up, boys and girls?
So what's going on today is Dev, if you guys don't know, my internet brother, he's been kind of out of the YouTube loop for a little bit. I've streamed with him on Twitch every so often, but you know, he's recently kind of getting back into making videos again. I wanted to give him a nice welcome back, and we had a few videos. We actually point of contact that we made last week was that 4K video that I made, and he had he had a lot of fun watching it, and I suggested let's come in and debunk a few together and have a good time, just talk about what's going on and just chill out,
Yeah, I actually,
you
what sucks? We don't have it in the queue for today, but I wouldn't mind going over that 4K video again. Has he? I haven't checked because I never watched the original video. Like, I should make that really, really clear. I saw it in my related for the longest goddamn time, and I literally refused to click on it because I'm like, I don't want to hear whatever your fucking excuse is behind it. You're wrong, like straight up. It's incorrect. So has he published any type of retraction, any type of correction or anything like that since then? No.
So I'm looking on his channel now. He made a video a week ago and then one 3 weeks ago. I think he's kind of ignoring it, which is probably the smartest thing you can do.
Yeah, he's playing it right.
But I think the most noble thing, if it were me, I would probably remake the video and talk about how I was wrong before, show that I've grown and I'm, I don't know.
You're not closed-minded about it.
But I think there were a lot of comments. I don't know if you read the comments on my video, but there were a lot of comments from people who hated me for making that video on him.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, if we talk more about it, we're gonna end up going into it. But you forgot about the bit rate. The fucking bit rate. Oh, 4K uncompressed is 220 something gigabytes. No shit. That's why nobody fucking does it uncompressed. Fuck, I'm not gonna go into it. I'm sorry. You already have two videos lined up.
I actually, I hear how passionate you are. I actually didn't know until just now, but I almost do want to go with that at least one day. You know what I'm thinking too? If we get through one or two of these videos and we enjoy this, we can make this maybe a semi-regular thing, and we'll one day get to that video.
That's fucking fine by me. I mean, it would suck because it's old, but videos like that pretend to know everything about it. I'm getting myself into deep shit saying that, but you forgot the fucking bit rate. Jesus Christ. What's his name? The dude that wears a red shirt in every fucking video, Tom Scott, I think is his name, made an insanely good video about what bit rate does to the quality of a video, and just completely pokes so many goddamn holes in that argument. It's like Swiss cheese. But regardless, anyways, sorry, that's how Barry and I started talking again. We've been doing Twitch streams every now and then, But Barry posted that video. I knew I had seen it in my related. I'm like, okay, I want to hear what this is actually all about. And it turns out Barry and I actually like agree on a lot of that shit because a lot of that shit's factual. And we're gonna try doing that again with all of this. So.
However, there are a few videos in here
Yeah,
that have to do
yeah.
with Apple versus Android, and I'm the Android guy, and Dev over here is the Apple guy. So this can be pretty fun. So if you want to go ahead and start the first one.
You want to do the iPhone one first?
Or the 10 things that PC gamers hate. We'll get to the iPhone one.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let me see. I gotta find that link real fast.
It should be the top one.
God, this is from 2016. Oh boy, TechRadar. I haven't really seen much from TechRadar. Are they like? Oh, I got to share screen. I forgot.
They're like.
Are they kind of?
Watch Mojo.
Are they BuzzFeed? Okay.
Think Watch Mojo, and that's kind of what TechRadar is.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's all you needed to say.
Yeah.
Okay, you should be able to see that, and if I skip the ad, you should be able to hear this, right?
I can hear that.
Okay, perfect. All right, I haven't seen this before. Barry has.
I saw like
dislike
part
ratio.
Of it. I saw part of it. Once he said the first thing, I was like, oh god.
Yeah, that dislike ratio is promising. So, all right. Jesus Christ, here goes nothing.
There's no denying it, PC gaming is the elite of all gaming. Hardware is at the top of its game and price range, and the games look their absolute best. And to top it all off, there's an infinitely customizable element to the platform. But friends, it is time to vent. You love PC gaming, we love PC gaming, but sometimes there's just a few things that you can't help getting annoyed at. So count to 10 slowly and delve into the top things we love to love. Number
love
one,
the stock
console
footage.
gamers.
Yeah.
The feud between
What?
PC and console gamers is pretty much prehistoric. Thought of as the pesky upstarts of the industry, consoles are blamed for diluting gameplay, almost causing the death of the PC itself, and then there's the old keyboard versus joypad debate. The hatred may be there, but it's unfounded as PC gaming rules the roost in both technological advancements and in sales.
That's the entire number one?
Yeah.
What?
So that's what I'm
Okay.
telling you. Like, this is one of those intro videos to people who don't know the world that these people are talking about, right?
Right.
They're like, if you don't know anything about black people, they steal stuff. No, that's all you need to know. It's
What?
like
Barry, that's a horrible fucking analogy. I'm not doing this shit. Okay.
I'm just saying, it's like
You
what
can't
I'm
do
what
that
I,
shit
no,
on number one. By the time we get to 10, they're gonna pull the fucking stream. Jesus.
What I'm saying is, it's like completely
If there's
stereotypical.
stereotypes is the word you're looking for.
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I was saying.
But, like, okay, I get what they're trying to say, but the problem is we've been trying to play with console gamers. I'm not I'm not biased towards, like, console or PC, even though I mainly play on PC. I'm buying a fucking PS4 for Tetris Effect, dude. Like, there are some games that make sense to be played on a console, right? But that doesn't mean that we inherently hate console gamers. Yes, the experience is better on PC. They do have a point where for so long, last generation, like graphics were being held back by consoles because they were running on fucking old-ass hardware. But that doesn't mean that we inherently, like, hate console gamers. I don't know why I'm saying we.
Like, there's a point to what he's saying, like, a little bit, where he was talking about the lacking, and you said it too, like some parts of a game feel lacking. Like I noticed that when I play a video game, like a AAA video game, I noticed that of course the controls are way simpler than like an indie, like I have a full keyboard that I could utilize for this game, but instead I just you just got to remap the buttons from a controller, which is just very simple. But you don't blame the console gamers for anything, right?
And there's no fucking debate about which controller is better. You're not going to catch me playing, like, I have Rocket League open in the background right now because I forgot to close it, but you're not going to catch me playing Rocket League with a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to catch me playing fucking CSGO with a controller. Like, there's a reason why the Xbox One controller works with the PC as well as it does. Because there are different control schemes for different genres of games. You wouldn't want to play a racing game with a keyboard and mouse either. You want analog input. That doesn't mean there's this huge fucking debate around it, and to say that there is stupid.
Yeah, you're just causing problems for no reason. I don't understand.
Yeah,
But that's just number one.
Two is. Yeah.
Number 2, expensive upgrades. If you've ever wondered why your shoes have holes in or why you never have enough cash to go out, that's because you are a PC gamer and all of your pay packet has been spent on upgrades. This isn't a one-off spend, it's incremental. You've just installed a new CPU, but now you need a new graphics card, and you probably need more RAM and a new motherboard. Oh yeah, and your monitor's resolution is too low and your hard drive is now full. Upgrading is a never-ending process. Let's just hope that your wallet is too.
Oh
Good.
my god.
Good.
Oh my god.
That means you're not upgrading to an entirely new fucking console. It's not a nightmare that people make it out to be, like, upgrading consoles, right? Like, you can't obviously go in there and put in different shit. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking if you have, like, this is a weird frame to pause on. I'm talking about, like, if you like if you had an original Xbone, right, and you wanted to go to an Xbox One X, you can do that. You can sell your old Xbox and then go to an Xbox One X for a much lower amount. People do this with phones all the time. But the fact that you can upgrade a PC is a good thing, and you shouldn't treat it like a bad one. And I don't know anybody who... You can do that same fucking thing with PCs. I swear to God, I used to get, like, back when I was, like, really heavily into, like, PC gaming. I don't have that much time for it anymore. I used to sell my old PC to a friend or family member every year. And then I would spend the extra, like, I would sell it for, like, $1,000 because it was a decently built PC. Mm-hmm. And then I would spend an extra, like, $300 or $400 and build an entirely new one. So this thing about, like, oh, you have to do the CPU first and the graphics card, it's like you're not, those old parts aren't going to waste, right? You can sell them and make that back. There's a huge problem where people think that you have to just, like, stash them and never use them again. Sell them! Like, within the first year, sell them and get, like, that's, oh my God, the value of them goes down rapidly after the first year. If you were to sell, like, the 2080 Ti is out right now, right? Isn't it? Or the RTX 2080?
It's coming out, like, within the month, yeah.
Okay. If you have a 1080, you can sell it for a decent price right now and then pay a fraction of the cost to go to a 2080. That's fucking great because there's somebody out there that only needs the 1080 for whatever they're trying to do. You don't need the fucking 2080 to play Fortnite. Your goddamn 1080 is going to play it just fine on your 1080p monitor. It doesn't matter.
And that's a big thing too, with a lot of these people. They'll be like, well, the problem with computers is you have to upgrade. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I built my buddy a computer 3 years ago that was $450. And every time I talk to him, he says it does everything he needs it to do. He's never needed to upgrade one time. Not once. Mm-hmm. So, like, it's not a necessity. If you're an enthusiast like I am, like, of course, you'll want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, you don't need to.
There's an enthusiast, like, thing to it. People, you don't give shit to people that are, like, fascinated by their car and love upgrading their car.
Yeah.
I don't understand where that comes from on PC gaming. I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's some of the dumbest shit that you can do considering stuff breaks when you try changing shit in a car. Like, my buddy's a huge gearhead and loves doing that, and I will never in my life understand it. But I get it's his thing, and it's his money. I'm not going to tell him how to spend it. I'm going to let him have fun with whatever fucking makes him happy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. How many views does this video have?
Only 20,000, which is why I was kind of surprised that you found this one.
But they're sent to me a lot of the time. But
okay. All right, let's see what dude here has to say.
Number 3, driver issues.
Okay.
Windows is a lot more stable than it used to be, and DirectX is friends with most hardware. But occasionally there'll be one jigsaw piece in your elite gaming machine that has some sort of driver issue. Maybe it's just as a boss appears, or it might be before your game begins. A critical error will pop up on the menu screen, and Device Manager will be a reluctant friend for the next few hours.
Why? Wait,
Number
what?
4,
What? Why fucking device? What?
This comes from people who don't even know what a computer is at all.
This is what I've been missing. This is the problem when you have somebody reading the script that they didn't write.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend too much time on this because driver issues can be a legitimate problem. Like, especially when everybody's obsessed with, like, pre-alpha games right now, like fucking pre-ordering games and then playing the betas of them.
Yeah.
And anybody that's played the Blackout beta on PC probably has had at least some issue with it. Some of them won't even let you launch unless you have the latest one, right? So I get that there can be issues with this, but they're not nearly this big. Uninstall the old ones, put in the new ones, and just fucking get over it.
Yeah, seriously. And what I hated about this video was not that, oh, you can run into problems. This guy was like, you will have a driver's issue. Like, absolutely. Yeah, it can happen, but like, God, it's so easy. Like you just said, jeez.
It can happen, but it doesn't happen to everyone. What the fuck? Sorry.
Did that horse just do a backflip?
Why did I have this running in the background? Okay, we're moving on to the next point because I want to see what this is about.
For the next few hours. Number 4,
What
crashes. Drivers is a full-on crash. It's a lot rarer to see the blue screen of death, but it's still there in Windows 10. And we've always wondered, why is it blue anyway? Whatever the reason, hopefully the computer will boot up after a hard reset so that you can search the net for the error code for some clue as to why this travesty happened.
I can't remember the last time when I wasn't overclocking when my computer actually like legitimately blue or green screened.
I've actually, the only time that it did was when I first upgraded to Windows. When Windows 7 to the transition to Windows 7 to Windows 10, there was a few problems. That was the only time. Other than that, I've never had a blue screen. Other than like you just said, upgrading. I do know why it's blue though. It's because blue is a very calming color, and when you get crash, you get pissed off. So like, duh. But like,
what fucking BuzzFeed article did you read that off?
That's actually.
Did you know why the blue screen of death is blue? Fucking. Like, it can be a problem. Games do. I get the blue screen is just like an exaggeration of what they mean. They mean like the game just entirely like stopping responding. You have to and process what the fuck ever. This is becoming more of a problem on consoles too. Like No Man's Sky on PS4 was famous for fucking like crashing back to the dashboard. So like just because the entire system doesn't crash doesn't mean that people don't have problems, especially with betas on other platforms. And it's kind of like an expected thing, and it's because here's the thing, and we're gonna talk about this with like iPhone stuff later on. Also, I see that chat, you little shit. Like when you're developing for PC, you're developing for like an infinite amount of configurations, and you're never going to be able to prevent crashes on every single one of them. This is why consoles got so popular in the first place. This is why developing for an iPhone, for example, is so much more popular than a fucking Android device. So when these things happen, there's usually fixes for them, and they're very rare, but it is a fair point that you do deal with this more often on desktop, like on PCs, than you do on consoles. But it's not exclusive to PCs. I guess that's probably like the fairest way that I can put it.
You know what's interesting about this video? The thing that doesn't piss me off is that like, oh, none of these ever happen. It's that it's supposed to be 10 things that PC gamers hate, and not once yet have I been like, yeah, I agree with that. You know, because like I don't. It's annoying when your game crashes, but you just start it again.
Like, yeah, there's nobody that likes crashes. There's nobody that likes driver issues or upgrade or spending a shit ton of money on their hardware, right? But they're not problems. Nobody in their right mind would like these things. Everybody hates these. There's no reason to point them out like this and be like, and kind of discourage people from trying it out and use it for fodder in a fucking middle school argument of like, oh, this is why I don't play on PC. It doesn't work. Yeah, you're trying to be relatable to an audience that doesn't want to relate to the things that you're listing.
This is actually, that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier, is this is like the most normie way to explain like you're explaining problems to people who don't know what a computer is. That's what this video I feel is
Don't we all hate, like, I'm not gonna say it, never mind. Like it's weird saying that you hate these relatable things and bringing it up and expecting to get likes on a video. Like, I don't get it. I don't know, just fucking next.
Number 5, lag. Despite having several fiber optic cables snaking around your house, there will always be lag. One minute you're next to your friend in Black Ops 3, and the next minute they have walked onto the other side of the map. It's not big, it is not clever, and now you've been dumped off the server because of your rubbish connection.
I've got it. It's not 10 things PC gamers hate, it's fucking 10 things gamers hate.
Just gamers in general.
You know what? Fuck this. I'm done with it. Move this shit over. I'm trying to... God, fuck Chrome. You're ruining my bit. God
You're
damn it.
ruining my bit. Oh my god.
I want to fucking edit this. Like, none of this is... like, besides driver issues, not much of this is exclusive... There we go. Much
there we
better.
go. Yeah.
That's not fake news. Like, like, not a lot of this is exclusive to PC besides upgrading and driver issues, and we're on 5. You can't fucking say this is like a PC issue when it's not. Just fuck this.
Number 6. Desktop clients such as Uplay, Steam, and Origin.
I can get with this.
Don't
Yeah.
get us wrong, desktop clients are mostly fantastic. There's the convenience of not having to leave the house to buy a new game, and there are constant bug fixes and online support. However, you often need to be online constantly to play, and clients are often bogged down with niggles when downloading things. Sometimes there is just no beating a physical product.
Fuck off. Okay, you had me. What do you mean there's nothing better than a physical product? You're so right at the beginning. Because no one likes fucking launching Uplay. Nobody likes launching Origin. Nobody likes launching... I mean, Battle.net's okay, but, like, nobody would want to.
Yeah.
Steam is what everybody wants to be on, period. You have a point, and then you fucking ruin it by saying that the entire, like, idea of a desktop client is wrong. It's not that the desktop clients are wrong. It's just that we don't want to use 1,000,001 different ones. No one hates the Xbox dashboard.
No.
Like, it's just... What the fuck does that even mean? You're just going too far with this and ruining your entire fucking point.
I was actually about to say, too, like, I can get behind that. And then he said that, and I was like, ah, Jesus.
Yes! Like, it was a good point, and then he just talked.
He
Number
just
7.
talked.
Building a PC. The ultimate way to display your
What?
PC
Oh,
gaming
no.
prowess is by constructing your very own dream machine. However, that dream can quickly turn into a nightmare, and it's not just about the cost. It's also about the painstaking amount of time and effort to get the thing to actually boot up. Whether it's finding out that cables aren't attached to the motherboard correctly, getting freaked out by how much thermal paste you need to apply to the processor, or merely losing an important screw, PC building will certainly take a few years off your life with the stress.
Years?
All right.
What? Okay.
It's okay. No, it's an exaggeration. PC building's not for everybody. It really isn't. It's not for everyone. There are people that want a single platform that they can just buy, take out of the box, and play games on. And I don't think there's any shame in admitting that. You should see building a PC as like a fun, do-it-yourself kind of project. There's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, I know you have especially like a lot of background from Falcon on this, but it's not.
I mean, I loved it. Every time I go back into Falcon, all I want to do is just like, hey, can I build a computer, please? Like while I'm here. Like I just.
Hey, bitch, where's the 2080s at?
I love
I
love
get
it.
it.
But the thing that I hate about this right here is he goes, you know what PC gamers hate is that they have to build their computer. You know, and there's no workaround like buying a pre-built anywhere. That doesn't exist, you know. You got to build it. Come on. If you don't want to build it, you can go buy one. You can get a laptop. You can get a pre-built desktop.
You can what?
You can get a laptop if you want one.
I'm hanging up the call.
I don't recommend
This
it.
is
I don't recommend
Yeah,
laptops.
you better not fucking recommend it. A year and a half, and I come back to you preaching against the goddamn holy word that I said. Okay, I'm ranting. No, but like, and I made that video before desktop class cards came to laptops, and I had a fair point. Like Helios 300 from Acer, like whatever Predator laptop was, like the budget one that came out like a year ago. 1060 i7 256, $1,000. Not bad. It'll get you through the day. Just don't expect it to fucking don't expect to take it anywhere. Like you can pre-builds aren't as terrible as they used to be. Yes, there's still a premium, but you're paying a premium to have someone build it for you. I don't care if it's a factory or not. If you want to learn more about how it works, then build it. But I mean, don't shame people for building it. It doesn't take years, and there are some people that it's not for. But once they realize that, they just return all the parts and buy a pre-build. It's whatever. Chances are you started playing on a computer that was not one that you built.
Yeah, actually.
In fact, that's basically everybody. I don't know anybody who builds their
me
first
too.
fucking computer.
Exactly.
All right.
Number 8. Lack of local multiplayer. If there's one thing that PCs lack, it is interaction between several people in the same room. PC games may encourage human interaction in online gaming, but there is a level of jealousy, perhaps not rage, that can be levered at our sociable console brethren.
Because no one wants to share a mouse and keyboard.
This one's also just plain wrong.
Yeah, Rocket League has split screen support, even on PC.
There are actually more games on PC with split
There's a
screen
shit ton of
support
them, actually. We were
than
playing
there
Duck
is
Game
on
the other...
consoles anymore.
Yeah, Duck Game, Stick Fight. Like, there's a fucking... What's the one stupid brawling game you guys play with the little clay fighters? I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry.
Wait, are you talking about Smash Brothers?
No, you fucking idiot. No,
I was like, wait,
the one
what?
That's not a PC game. Barry, I swear to God, we have 3 more videos and I'm not going to be able to get through them. No, the one that's like an indie game, it's like a fighting game. They just made a... Christ, I can just look through your library. Never mind, your library's fucking huge. Next point, fuck it.
Is it in my
It's
library?
a fighting game. Someone in chat probably knows it. They look like Gang Beast. Everybody in chat is saying.
Gang Beast. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's one of the most popular fucking like local multiplayer games on PC. Thank
Yeah.
you, chat. I'm sorry. I should have looked earlier. I should have trusted you guys. Yeah, no, that's a null and void point. There aren't. I want to say there aren't as many that like develop in mind. Like you can't fucking play Call of Duty, obviously. Like split
No,
screen on a PC, but why
actually-
would you?
Actually, even the Call of Duties that came out that were split screen on console, they removed those on the PC version, so which was weird. But
Right, yeah.
so
Do they
that-
still have them on consoles? I could have sworn there was like a big fiasco about consoles
no,
actually like removing
actually,
that
and I
feature.
remember even Halo, the new Halo, is rumored to not have any split screen as well, which is crazy because
that
that
was
was
the one
like
that I was thinking of.
that was the one that like invented split screen, you know.
Right.
Or at
Like
least-
gathering around the TV and playing.
Yeah, at least that's the one that everyone did, you know, and then Mario, of course, the Mario parties and whatever. But yeah, so
Yeah.
this one's just wrong. There are more PC games that you can split screen with friends than there are on consoles anymore. So this one's just whatever.
Yeah, okay.
Number 9, other PC gamers. Trolls
What?
lurk everywhere, not least online.
Yeah.
First-person shooters are fertile ground for them, and they will teabag, dish your playing style, and camp like it's going out of fashion. They will also try to rile you until you inevitably rage quit. But it's not just that. PC gamers can be hardware snobs, and yes, we did just say that. Maybe they've been snooty about the type of RAM you decided to buy, but whatever they said, steer clear of all of the above types.
Okay, there is some credibility to this. We are a very toxic community. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you browse PCMR daily. There is an element of snootiness and like I'm better than you. Oh, look at my humble build. It has a fucking GTX 1080 in it. Like, I know what it's trying to say. I don't know if you have more to add to that.
I could ask.
There is a higher level of trolling.
I could ask what community doesn't have toxicity within it, you know?
The console community, because you may have like a war between PS4 and Xbox One, right? But you don't hear Xbox One. At least I haven't experienced it. You don't hear Xbox players telling other people like, "I have a One X, you're fucking trash." Like, you know what I mean? I understand it's not as big of a deal on PC, but there are some games that you may want to play with your friends, but they don't have like the power to run it, and you know you might tease them or something like that, or they might be getting FPS lag stuff. I kind of get it. Alexa, stop. Sorry, dumb bitch. Sorry, but I kind of get it. There is an element where there's so many more configurations on PC that it can be like, I don't know what I'm trying to fucking say here.
You're good. You're good.
There's also like there's as long as you disable chat on like voice, that's still not a fair point. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying actually. I get why they have like this inherent feeling that PC gaming is more toxic. Like, name one game of League of Legends that you can get through without getting flamed.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Right. But okay, so I would ask you know, you've got that with that community, but you also had that with the Dark Souls community, no matter the platform, right? So there's like, when you talk about toxicity, I think that's just people in general, because it doesn't matter if it's based on what's in my computer or yours, or based on which Xbox I got or didn't. How much better am I compared to you? That's what the internet is, right? So if I go to you and say, hey, let's go play Dark Souls 1v1 me, bro, and then I kill you, I say, get good, whore, you suck, right?
Okay, let me change this, because there's one element that makes like shit talking a lot easier on
Okay,
PC.
sure.
And it's text chat. It is so much, and the YouTube chat's about to agree with this. It is so much easier to talk shit over text than it is over voice, especially when you're under 18.
Actually,
it is
yes.
a lot easier to talk shit over
Actually,
text.
yes.
And when you have text-only games like League of Legends, like fucking, I mean, there's quick chat-only games like Rocket League and stuff like that, but nobody uses their goddamn mic in there because it's garbage. Like, you can be a lot more toxic over text, easier than you can be over voice, because somebody can just straw man you and say, shut the fuck up, 12-year-old. Like, you know, it's just, that would be the main takeaway. I guess that's why I probably think that PC gaming is a little bit more toxic.
Okay, because it's open to an easier environment to do so.
Right, but
I think
a lot of people in chat were also
agree with that.
saying. I want to make it clear we are reading chat. Like I have chat open like side by side with
Me
this,
too.
so I am seeing what you guys say.
Every so often I'm replying in there.
Yeah, I was seeing some people say that there are some people that give other people shit for not having like a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X, but it doesn't inherently change. Like if you're playing on a 1080p TV, they're not getting an advantage over you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh
So-
yeah, because you could be like, I have a 144 hertz monitor. You're like, well, you're playing on an
Yeah.
Xbox One, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Number 10, backwards compatibility. Upgrades are great
Huh?
when they work,
What?
and it's even better to revisit an old game to see the frame rates go through the roof. However, upgrading to Windows 10 means that you're probably not going to be able to play that old classic, whether it's Wing Commander or something else. Looking for a positive, or at least it'll force you to live in the moment.
That's a garbage point. I don't even need to. We don't
Yeah,
even need to
are
counter
you
that.
serious?
This is one of the only platforms that you can't do that. Everybody already knows that. I'm not even gonna bother.
That was dumb.
Like if it is so old that it doesn't run in your fucking kernel anymore, you can emulate it. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
What?
And like, how is that a PC only problem? Because like,
It's you can go back to OG Xbox on Xbox One now, but that's about it.
yeah, I don't see that point. I think, I don't know. That was kind of dumb.
Huh. That's a weird point to end on. I thought we were gonna get a lot bigger
Like a big
send off.
bam, but I guess not. So that was
Oh
TechRadar.
god, they don't even what fucking channel doesn't even tell you to like and subscribe? Jesus Christ.
Me?
Yeah, man, me actually. I get the dislike ratio. There are some fair points, but I get the dislike ratio. I see why people did not like that video. I think it's weird that it only has 20,000 views though. Normally when a video bombs that bad, it just like gets fucking thrashed.
Yeah,
Like
especially
the
for
like the 4K one. We're gonna keep shit talking that for like the next month.
I actually I want to build up hype for that one, and then we'll just like rip into it together.
The cone in your eye, Barry.
Dude, there's
your
a
singular
point.
eye.
There's a part in there. A lot of people got upset, or at least a few people got upset at me for cutting it out because it was kind of irrelevant to the subject. Where he was doing like how your eye works and testing your eyes and stuff like that, and I cut it out of the video because it was just like some of it was fair, but like it has nothing to do with the subject at all. But that part would be fun to go over with you because people would love to see that. But
Right.
we move on. That was TechRadar, ladies and gentlemen. So
That was fun. There's a problem when publications get this big and you have to publish something daily. This is why you take your time with these articles. You have the same person that wrote it read it so they can hear how fucking dumb they sound in some cases. This is something that we're literally taught. For those of you that don't know, I'm literally going to... I don't know why I said literally. I'm going to school for journalism. And one of the things that we do in our radio reporting class is when we write something down, we read it out. And if you walk into a classroom full of radio journalists, video journalists, anything like that, anybody who's like writing down their scripts, you will think that you just walked into a room full of fucking schizophrenics because everybody is reading out their stuff and making sure that it doesn't sound fucking stupid. Because when you write stuff down, you say stupid shit and you have to catch yourself before you do. And it's really something that a lot more listicles like this should do. It's just stop. I get that this was made in 2016, but I hope, and I don't follow TechRadar. I hope the content's gotten better since then.
I'll have no idea. Let's move on to the next one, though. Let's actually move on to one of yours. We can go like you, me.
Okay. Both of the ones that I have are from the same guy. They're
Okay.
very well. Let me ask you this first, Barry.
Sure.
What kind of phone do you use?
Have you ever heard of the Razor phone?
You're still on the Razor phone.
Yeah, I'm still on the Razor phone.
Okay. What do you like about it?
So the selling points for me was the two huge speakers right on the front. So if I want to watch anything, they're actually like the most powerful speakers I've seen on a cell phone. The 120 hertz refresh rate screen was actually kind of cool. And
Right.
whenever I show my phone to my friends, they always remark on that. And then the last part that that made me want to buy this phone Oh crap! What was it? I'm trying to remember. There was like one other thing. Oh, the battery life. It has a 4,000 milliamp battery, which was the biggest at the time, and it's still. I've had this phone for probably 7 months now, and it still takes about 3 days before I have to charge it.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's...
I mean, do you use it often? Do you do a lot of, like, social media or whatever?
I'm on it all the time for notifications from YouTube, Twitter, Reddit, like Discord messaging, all my friends. I look on a Snapchat. I'm on YouTube on it all the time, replying to comments. I'm on it all the time.
Okay.
So it's been a pretty solid phone for the most part.
Okay, so having that phone...
Sure.
Did you watch any of the announcements from Apple for the iPhone XS, the iPhone XS Max, the iPhone XR?
No, I haven't kept
guess
up to
including
date
the watch.
since the iPhone 10.
Okay, what did you think of the iPhone 10?
I thought it was an okay piece of tech, but it didn't need to cost what it did. I think that was a little ridiculous, and I think they screwed a lot of people over with the storage. I think it should have started at 126 gigabyte storage. I think it's about time Apple lets you upgrade storage. These are just like mostly just little things that I have with Apple in general. So,
Okay, this is probably good because a lot of the points you're making are in this video too. I have been using an iPhone for the past 2 years. I still have a Pixel, right? So I try to stay unbiased between these two. But you've had an Android phone for how long now? Like, I just want to establish like background. This isn't for me to use against you.
No, you're good. My first ever phone, I guess my first ever 2 phones were iPhones, and then I moved on after high school. When I was 20, I got the LG G4, and then my second phone is the Razr phone. So I've had 2 iPhones and 2 Android phones.
What made you switch?
Well, what you know what it was? The big thing that it was when my a buddy in my class, he told me he didn't want to do schoolwork on the computers that day, and he used his Android phone to shut down the internet throughout the entire whatever. Like, we were in the computer room, and he shut, like, no one could connect to the internet because his phone was like hogging all the bandwidth. I don't actually know.
So you had
what
like a
he
man
did.
in the middle kind of attack. Like, I think I've seen the app for that.
It was really cool to watch that happen, and I was like, whoa, can you teach me how to do that? And he goes, on an iPhone, and I was like, oh god, okay. And then I started
shamed you into having
yeah,
an
no,
iPhone.
totally. No, but hang on a minute, because it
You
wasn't
wanted
just
to commit a crime.
well, hang on, because there's more to it than that. Because after that point, I started looking up Cydia and tweaks and hacks for my phone that I wanted to do, and then when I showed people, they'd just be like, I can do that from my phone. And I was like, okay, well then all the things that I want to do for the kind of person I am, I'm not an Apple guy. I need to move over to Android. That's just where I want to be. It just, the things that I wanted to do, they were on Android.
Okay. And somebody made a really good point. Thomas made a really good point in chat that Barry has 2 videos about how much he hates Apple, and I've been asking Barry repeatedly to fight me. I can't say that other word. Does he really have to ask? This is why I wanted to talk to you about this, because this guy sides with you. And I have some counter arguments, and I want instead of because I wouldn't be able to reach out to this guy, I want you to kind of argue on behalf of him. Or if there's a middle ground that we reach, then do that. You know what I mean?
Okay, I like this idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in case, so you don't know anything really about the 10s Max stuff like that?
No, other than the price is still outrageous, and even more so than last time.
Oh, I love that you're bringing up that price. Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Let's start with the Note 9 one then, because this one I know a little bit more about.
Okay.
So the title of this is Note 9 destroys the iPhone XS Max. Just off the bat, do you kind of agree with that? Is this something you would click on?
It's too clickbaity. I wouldn't click on it, but
Okay. Hear out his argument, and then tell me if you agree, and we'll pause at certain points, and I'll kind of tell you why I disagree.
Sure. Okay, I like this.
All right.
Newsflash: the Note 9 is a better value than the iPhone XS Max, period.
End of video. There we go.
Hey friends on YouTube, my name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. this is your first time here, thank
I
you for
would've
stopping
left
by. If you've been
already.
here before, then please, yeah, you're the sunshine of my life. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. So,
Keep in mind, this has 227,000 videos.
And the other one
videos,
had, like-
227,000 views, and it was posted on September 14th, so this was only 5 days ago. Something I should point out is the other video that we're going to watch was
got, like,
also
almost a
posted the
million.
day before with almost 1 million. The day before, also shitting on the new iPhones, right? So if you look through his channel, the past like 5 days have just been trashing the iPhone XS for almost the same reasons.
Right,
So
okay.
just keep that in mind.
now that we know what the XS Max is and how much it's going to cost, we can actually start to compare it to other giant phones that cost somewhere around $1,000. The closest analog to the XS Max is probably the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. It's just been recently released, and it has the latest specs and all that kind of stuff. There are some things that are similar about it. So there's the screen size, 6.4 inches on the Note versus 6.5 inches on the XS Max. The Note 9 also comes with a 512 gigabyte variant, but it starts with a 120 gigabyte variant. And with the 512 gigabyte storage model, you can expand that storage out to 1 terabyte.
Okay, I wanna ask you, because I know you have a Razer phone. That only comes in one configuration, right?
Okay. Oh, the Razer phone?
The Razer phone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got like a 16 or 64, I don't remember, internal, and then you can apply whatever you want. You can add.
You can use an SD card. And have you said you've done that already? Did you run out of space?
No, I haven't run out of space at all.
Exactly. Okay, hold that thought.
Okay,
Both
okay.
of them have OLED screens, which is nice. But really, honestly, that's about all the comparisons we can make that are sort of equal. Having now viewed this XS Max, knowing that it starts at $11.99 and not $9.99 for 64 gigabytes of storage, well, that's not so
Wait,
good.
hold on. I'm not saying this to be funny or anything like that. I want to replay that part.
Okay.
Not $9.99.
I need to go back.
Now viewed this XS Max, knowing that it starts at $11.99 and not $9.99 for 64 gigabytes of storage. Well, that's
Okay, $11.99 for 64 gigs, right?
Yeah.
For the XS Max, 64 gig.
Are you
This
gonna
is,
like?
This is important.
Okay.
This is important.
All right.
Buy it without a carrier. Go with gold because we're gaudy. $10.99. So already $100 off. And again, this matters later on.
That's not so good. And then 256 gigabytes is $12.49, but that's what the 512 gigabyte model costs for the Note 9.
That is
and
correct.
The 512 gigabyte model of the XS Max is $14.49. And then
Also
if you want to
correct.
add Apple Care on there, then it's almost $2,000 plus tax.
Fuck you. Okay. Like, okay, this is where I get mad. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of people see this screen right here if you're on apple.com or they watch the keynote. I have heard the iPhone XS Max called a $1,500 phone so much since it came out. But it
Right,
starts at
okay.
$1,100, right? People don't call the Note 9 a $1,250 phone. They call it a $1,000 phone, right? Because for most people, the 128 gigabyte is enough. Then he adds on tax and Apple Care. Apple Care is $200 for those who don't know. Apple Care is $200, and then tax is $100. So worst case scenario, you're looking at $1,749. You're adding $250 to get to almost $2,000.
Okay.
That's important.
Okay, no,
because okay, go ahead.
It is important. I want to say before we continue though, that I think phones in general are too expensive.
Okay.
And then I think Apple kind of milks that a lot. So if you go back to their thing real quick,
Sure.
like he was the Apple page. Yes. So 64 gigabytes of storage for $1,099. I mean, I get that there's more to it than just the storage, but then you look at the increase just in storage, and that's what makes that much of a difference. I think that's ridiculous in any market. So I'm not going to say, yes, he's being unfair. Like, I agree he's being unfair already, but like, he's being unfair to a company that I feel is being unfair anyway.
Okay, no, and that's fair. So going from 64 to 256 gigabytes is $150 more, right? And doing that again is $200 from 256 to 512.
Right.
Apple uses, like, and regardless of like who you're a fan of, and I understand I am not in the right crowd right now. I understand a lot of your
like all my
but this is why we're
subscribers.
doing this, because we want to change each other's mind, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people on your site will not like this, but Apple uses really, really good flash storage. It is no secret that the MacBook Pro uses some of the best flash storage in existence, right? And the same is true for the iPhone. So if we were to look up, say, if we were to go to Amazon, right? And we're looking up a Samsung 960 Pro, like something that's flash-based storage like this. 512 gigabytes, there is $200. And the jump from, that's not fair because they don't make it that cheap anymore. Because you only have the option to go up to a terabyte. What I wanted to show is that it's not insanely unreasonable to cost, say, like $150 more to go from 64 gigabytes to 256. In your experience, when you're shopping for SSDs, when you're building a computer, right? How much is it normally to go from 64 gig to 256, just with like a basic SSD?
It's come down a lot, but it's typically a pretty okay jump in money, which
Would you say that's around $100?
It depends on which drive you're getting. Are you getting a regular, like a standard SSD, or are you getting like an M2? Or
That's what I'm saying. So when it's this high class, this high profile of memory, isn't that a little bit more understandable? And it's not me defending this because, again, if you're going to go after Galaxy Note 9 prices, right? If you're going to go after the pricing of phones, it's also to go from 128 to 512, $250 more. So if you're going to give one company shit for doing it, shouldn't you give both shit? And I understand you're going from 128 to 250 or to 512, but it's the same jump. So $250 for essentially two tier moves.
See,
and about the same for these guys.
Here's the thing.
You know?
I'm not a Samsung guy either. I don't like them because they are very Apple when it comes to the Android market as well.
Right.
And I don't like that. So when people say, God, I hate Apple, I go, I can agree with that. And then they go, that's why I'm a Samsung person. I'm like, well, you're just in the same bowl.
You did the same thing. Exactly.
Like,
okay, so we're going to agree on a lot more.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just telling you right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's kind of go a little bit further.
All right.
My Note 9 has 128 gigabytes of onboard storage, and I threw in a 256 gigabyte SD card for a grand total of 384 gigabytes. So for me, I have to compare the Note 9 to the 1449 512 gigabyte version of the XS Max to get anywhere close to what I already had.
You don't get to do that. There is a reason that SD cards are unreasonably cheaper than moving up in an SSD, and it's because it's a slower class of memory. There are reasons why I sell phones for a living. For those who don't know, and whoever mentioned Talos of Tech, I'm probably fanboying if I say that I'm acting like him.
God!
When you have an SD card in your phone, there's a reason that not all of your apps can move to the SD card, and it's because the SD card is not fast enough. Right? So it's not fair to compare a 256 gigabyte SD card, add it into your 128, and then compare it to a $1,500 phone, right? You can't do that. Would you agree, or am I wrong?
I see exactly what you're saying. Cause see, I can compare this kind of stuff to computers, and I don't know when you watched my video, which oh my god should be something we do one of these days.
Okay.
When we do that, what you'll see me do is you'll see me compare component specs to each other based on the value and the performance of those components. And then I ask questions like, why is it that this RAM, this DDR3, blah, 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 that Apple wants you to add in is $150? Like, that's ridiculous, right? But I'd say the same thing when it came to Samsung, because, again...
Yeah.
So...
The best analogy that I can make is if you're going to add, and I want to play this again for people that didn't hear it.
If you want to add Apple Care on there, then
I'm going to get to that Apple Care part later.
$2,000 plus tax. My Note 9 has 128 gigabytes of onboard storage, and I threw in a 256 gigabyte SD card for a grand total of 384 gigabytes. So for me...
Okay. Imagine if someone told you, if you were trying to buy a computer from somebody who was selling a used computer, and they had a 128 gigabyte solid state drive, and they said they threw in a 256 gigabyte hard drive, so in total it had a 384 gigabyte solid state.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
okay.
It's a different class. And that doesn't mean that you get to compare it to another computer that has 384 gigabytes of solid state. It doesn't make sense.
I would say, though, I would ask you, you said earlier when I looked it up on my phone. I went into the settings to see how much. Well, I just wanted to see how much storage I had in there, right? So 64 gigs, and I have not upgraded that, right?
Okay.
If I did, I would have, and because I'm a tech guy, I know this kind of stuff. I wouldn't be interested in like the whole give me more fast storage. You know, I wouldn't use it for apps. I'd use it for that cold storage stuff like pictures, videos.
Exactly. But the other alternative to that, when you have a 64 gigabyte phone, and what Apple pushes to, like tooth and nail, is cloud storage, right? Because if you have, the reason why I can get away with a 64 gigabyte phone if I have one, like I don't, because I also film my videos on my phone when I make them, right? If I wasn't filming a shit ton of videos like that where I needed the highest quality, 64 gigabytes is fine. What I tell customers when they come in is, if you're streaming everything, which everybody does, YouTube doesn't take space, Netflix doesn't take space, neither does Hulu, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, anything like that, 64 gigs is all you need. Like, why would you even spend money on the SD card when you're not going to fucking need it and you can just keep it on the cloud or on your computer?
Yeah,
we tell people this all day. So when people give Apple shit for having a 64 gigabyte phone so they can offer it 1100 instead of a 128 at 1150 or 1200, that's why. They didn't have an excuse when they were selling phones that were 8 gigabytes, right? I remember the days of the iPhone 5, I think it was, where they actually had an 8 gig SKU, and iOS was like 4 gigs of that, right? We would have people install 2-3 apps, and they would come back saying like, oh, my storage is full. This isn't that. The ratio of what the OS does to the phone is way lower, and I feel like 64 gigabytes isn't a fucking crime anymore. This is why your Razer phone is 64 gigabytes. The Galaxy Note 9 wanted to one-up and be 128, and they did. But guess what? The S9 ships with 64 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So, like, and that also came out this year. What does the OnePlus ship with?
So I got a question for you, Dev. I need to know. Would you say that the price of the iPhones is a reasonable price? Would you say that amount of money for that cell phone?
If you have the money, I don't see why not. And this is gonna get a lot of flack. One of the things, somebody mentioned Talos of Tech earlier, and I got a whole bunch of different like vibes from it. Somebody loved him. Somebody fucking said he was trash. That's great. You have to remember. Did you buy your phone outright?
I did, yes.
Okay, you are not normal. And no. I don't mean that in any mean way or anything.
No, I know. Because
when
before
people buy their phones from us, they are buying them on contracts, right? So when you have a $1,000 iPhone, like the iPhone 10 or 10s, and you have an $800 Galaxy S9, right? Or an iPhone 10R, you're not seeing $200 more. You're seeing $39 a month versus $43 a month. So it doesn't make a difference to a lot of people.
So I get what you're saying, and I actually, that's what I did with every other phone that I had before. Was I was on a contract with Verizon, right? So I 100% get behind what you're saying there. But when is it unacceptable, like price wise for you? When would you say that, God, that's just too much money for a cell phone? Especially when, have you ever looked up how much it costs to manufacture an iPhone 10?
That's a bad road to go down, because the iPhone 10 has a lot more. The Samsung is guilty of the same exact thing. The reason why, no matter what phone that you're talking about, if it's an iPhone 10, if it's a Galaxy Note 9, the reason why they cost only $170 something to manufacture is because of all the money they put into R&D, all the money they put into sourcing out the parts, and the fuck tons of money that they put into advertising. Right, MKBHD has a fantastic video on this where he discusses the marketing or the margins behind Beats, and I would pull it up, but I don't want to get too off track. There's a reason why Beats cost that much, and the reason why Beats cost that much is, yes, because it does make money, and the business doesn't have to feel like a charity to give these things out for what you might deem a fair price, but because they spent so much fucking money getting it on the neck of a celebrity that was therefore in front of your face, and because it was on that celebrity, you want it too. Margins are a really tough argument because they're going to be different for every single company, and everyone is going to make them for a fraction of the cost they sell it for in order to make back what they spent building it. You know what I mean? Okay. So yeah, I mean, and the other point that you made, there is a certain where I would look at an iPhone, if say the iPhone 15 Max comes out, the iPhone Ultra comes out, and yes, I'm defending Apple, you little shit. If an iPhone Ultra came out, say 5 years down the line, and it costs $2,000, there's a really good chance that there's a reason why it costs $2,000, and there's also a really good chance that that Samsung makes or LG makes also costs $2,000, and it's probably because we went into like a foldable territory or some new development was made, right? The iPhone 10 costs $1,000 because it was a radical shift in design. Right, if you wanted to still pay the $700 to $800 that you're used to, that was supposed to compete with the S9, you could, and it was the iPhone 8. That's why it came out only a month before the iPhone 10. So you didn't have to buy the 10. But what happened? They priced it at $1,000, and guess what happened?
People bought it.
It sold a shit ton. Everybody predicted that it wouldn't, and it beat out every other smartphone. Article from BGR right here. It was supposed to be a flop. Actually, it's the best-selling iPhone model. People were willing to spend $1,000 for this design versus the $800 that they got for the design that the iPhone 8 and the S9 used. So, I mean, like, again, there is a point, I'm sure, where I would say, you know what, I'm not so into phones anymore. But I also don't think it's okay to really, like, shame the people that are willing to spend money on what they think is a more attractive or a better designed phone. Especially when it seems like everybody else agrees with them. Because, I mean, how much was your Razer phone? I don't think we should judge these by how expensive they are entirely. Like, that's definitely a point. But I don't know. It's tough.
My Razer phone, I spent I think it was like $600, but I spent $744 for like case and like screen protector or whatever.
Okay. But you felt good spending that. You knew, like, full well that the OnePlus or any type of OnePlus phone was cheaper and was probably a pretty comparable phone outside of the 120 hertz screen and the dual speakers. You could have saved $100 going for a OnePlus phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you wanted the Razer phone, so you spent more.
Yeah.
In the same way that I want the Apple ecosystem, because a lot of the stuff that I use is a Mac. Right? Like, I like the fact that I can text from my computer or an iPad or something like that. I have an Apple Watch. I have AirPods. And it works with the rest of the stuff that I have. I love iMessage and FaceTime because my friends use it. That's worth, in this case, if I'm looking at a Galaxy Note 9 versus a 10s Max, that's worth $99 to me.
All
Is
right.
that too far, or?
Okay, for me, I don't know. Because as I've looked into these phones, not once have I been like, you know, that's something that I wish I had. You know, like,
right.
There's nothing there for me. So it could simply be that. And I would like to go through my video with you someday. I think that'd be a lot of fun because you're presenting with me a lot of points.
We could.
No, we totally should. But you're presenting a lot of points to me that I want to have down in a video so that I can take them and reflect on them and look them up and see if I can have a different mentality towards Apple, because it's been pretty much the same since I've left. Right?
That's fair. That's absolutely fair.
So, but it's very interesting. I'm not like swaying over to the Apple side. Like I'm still, you know, but
yeah, no, and I wouldn't expect you to. This isn't a fucking.
Thought.
This isn't Louder with Crowder change your mind. Like, I don't expect you to fucking leave before. Okay, look, we're only 2 minutes in. Let me see what else.
Right, let's continue.
I have to compare the Note 9 to the 1449 512 gigabyte version of the 10s Max to get anywhere close to what I already had. But
is it fair to say that that's not an equal comparison because of their different classes of memory? Okay.
Yes.
The 256 gigabyte card, so we're talking like $999 versus $1499. If you add that Apple Care, then it's $1749, and then you lay on some tax for that much money, and you're getting close to $2,000.
that was the other thing I want to bring up, and I'll make this quick. Apple Care is $200. That's just, if we add it onto this phone right here, it is $200. Right there, $199 unless you get theft and lost, which is $300, right? Did you know Samsung Care is a thing?
Is it?
Yes. And guess what? The thing about Apple Care, they changed this year where it offers theft and loss protection. And this is why I'm upset that he didn't include it in the pricing for when he's going over like the Note 9 and everything like that. They added this where it's $100 more and it covers theft and loss. Apple Care was infamous for not including theft and loss, so it was $200. Where is it? Let me see. Samsung Premium Care is how much? I believe it was enroll in Premium Care. It is $11.99, and it also doesn't cover lost or stolen. It's only damage, right? So if he's going to toss in $200 to the price of the phone, then I get to add $11.99 times 24, which is $287.76, which is $300. So before, the difference between phones was $99, and then he tossed in Apple Care for $200, but his care is more expensive. So if you're going to do that, I don't know why he's doing this, but there's the $100 right there.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that boggles my mind. I get that he's trying to stack this up on top of one another and make it seem like a $2,000 phone, but it's not fair.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong or?
Well, no, and I don't have any problem with anything you're saying. It's just, it's funny because
Okay.
like I'm sitting here like, I don't like Apple nor do I like Samsung. So like we're just crapping on
Right.
both of them, and I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Like, I like really am.
See, I thought we were going to disagree on this a lot more, but it feels like you're kind of seeing through this too. The problem that I have is that these points are made in both of these videos. This one has 1 million. This one has 227,000, right? So the stuff that we were agreeing on with the PC gaming stuff doesn't make a goddamn on stuff like this. And if you look at this, it's just people praising him for, waking up as a sheep. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's so easy to shit on Apple. It's harder to actually see where they're coming from. There's a reason why this stuff sells. And I know I sound like a sheep saying that. I completely understand that. But
Already, the XS Max has nearly doubled the price of the Note 9 just before by purchasing it. But if we move on from storage and price and all that kind of stuff, what other comparisons can we make to see which one is really the better value? The iPhone XS Max is an iPhone. It does what iPhones do. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally love iPhones most of the time. But there's a long list of complaints about how the folks over there at the Space Donut utilize that gigantic screen, or should I say don't utilize it. There's nothing different about the way the phone works compared to its diminutive sized brothers, other than maybe you turn it in landscape and you get like your emails over here or something like that. People want split screen. People want picture in picture. There was even a rumor that the Max was going to have Apple Pencil support, but as with all rumors, Apple, you get some of the things you want, but you don't get most of them. What we've got here, just like the Plus models before, is simply a bigger iPhone that costs way more than it should when you get down to it. The Note 9, by comparison, offers an incredible amount of features for that $999 price tag.
okay, so what he's about to go into is a shit ton of pencil stuff, like the stylus that comes with the Note 9. Have you used the stylus with the Note 9 before? Or any Note phone?
Well, yeah, I've used the stylus with the. Remember when I was stuck with that Note 4 for a little bit? I had a stylus with it, and then Tim from work had just got the Note 9, and I got to play with it for a little bit. So yes.
Okay, so you both had a Note, and you know people that have a Note.
Yes.
Okay, when you had the Note, did you really use the stylus every day?
Never.
Or did it? Thank you.
When I was bored, I would pull it out and wiggle the screen with it. But but I will say, it was kind of cool when you pulled it out. A few apps would pop up that you could utilize with it, and there was a drawing pad, a notepad, and I thought that was kind of cool for people who wanted to utilize that. I was just not one of those people.
Literally, one of the only uses that I can think of for the Note 9 or for the S Pen is drawing on Snapchat. That's I'm dead serious.
Oh, that would actually be kind of cool, though.
Right, exactly. But the thing is, if you wanted most of the features of the Note 9, without the pen that you're not going to use, why wouldn't you get the S9 Plus and save another $150? Like listen to the features that he lists off of how cool the Note 9 is and what you can do with the pen.
Okay.
The S Pen offers so much functionality, so many features that the iPhone doesn't even dream about, that you could list these features by themselves and conclude that the Note 9 is by far the better value, is the winner. You got screen write, immediate note taking on the lock screen, handwritten notes taking, period. You've got Smart Select, you've got Bluetooth remote for taking pictures, controlling media. I use all these features on a daily basis, and
hang
all
on a
that's
minute.
packed.
Really?
Hang
okay,
on a
go
minute.
ahead. Yeah.
Hey, I will say a Bluetooth remote within the pen is actually kind of cool. Think about
And
that.
I would heavily disagree.
Really?
This is where we're gonna duke it out. What are you doing with that Bluetooth remote?
Well, think about this. Hang on. So if I have a Bluetooth
Okay.
remote and it's constantly connected to my phone, right? And I want to
Sure.
take a big group photo, but someone has to lag behind. Instead, I set the camera up and then I move away and I click the pen and it takes a picture for me. And now everyone's in that group photo. That's a kind of a neat thing that happens pretty often when you go on vacation or when you're at the lake with your friends. I can see that one.
I can kind of give you that, but I'm pretty sure even your Razer phone has like a self timer.
I'd have to
kind of
download
function
an
on
app.
it.
Like I could probably download
Really?
an app for it or something like that. But like I don't know. That's
But then you're holding a pen in the picture.
I mean, it's a tiny little pen. You just click the button. I mean, come on. Okay, hang on, Dev, because when I
all right.
had my Note 4, I mean, the pen is just about the same size as the new one. The new one's a little longer, but like the pen's not the size of like an actual pen. It's really thin. It's really small. It's like about the size of maybe from your middle finger down to the middle of your palm, right? So
But you're holding it in the photo, which means you're making like a closed fist trying to hold it.
But wait a minute, if you got your hand behind someone else, or you like have it in your pocket or something, you click the button. You don't have to. But I don't know. I just think.
Okay, no. Okay, I'll give it to you.
I just think
you have that feature.
Yeah.
You have that feature. Okay.
So
But it's
that's the one that stood out to me,
$150
though.
more.
That's the one that
But
stood
it's
out to me.
$150 more than an S9 Plus.
Right. It's not important enough for me to spend $150.
Right. Yeah, and I also told when he says Bluetooth media remote, is he talking about that you can like play pause with the S Pen? Like I haven't even looked it up. Note 9 S Pen features, because I want to know, outside of being a remote shutter, what the fuck does it do?
We'll find out, man.
Why are people paying for this?
Oh,
Look, I don't give a shit about any of this. Hold on. Command your slideshow without touching your phone. Okay.
That's kind of cool. So you just
You
click...
give a PowerPoint from your phone?
I mean, I wouldn't, but I'm saying that's kind of cool.
What this is talking about is using your Note 9 and DeX.
Oh god.
Like the little desktop adapter. I'm sorry. Can I write this off? Like
yeah,
that's not.
that's not.
It is talking about a play pause. Are you serious? Shuffle music, play and pause shows from up to 30 feet away. What pair of headphones are you using that doesn't have a play pause button?
Oh no. Oh no. How could you ever live in a world where you don't have a play pause button on your headphones?
Well, I'm saying that's what I mean. Like if this has no features. Like I just don't get that part.
I think it's a pretty cool thing. If people can see the use in it, I think that's pretty fine. And I think
you have to have a real big stretch to have a use out of it.
Well, but here's the thing. Even if that's the case, that is more options to a consumer who's bought a phone that's also cheaper than the iPhone that doesn't have that feature. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay. That's fair enough. That is absolutely fair. I'll give you that. You get a nifty little pen.
Cool. I get my nifty little pen, and I'm happy about it.
Okay.
Into a feature the Note has that the iPhone doesn't. Still, there's a lot more. There's the always-on display, multiple biometric modes of entry, the aforementioned split.
Like so many of which suck. Iris scanning is a joke. Face detection shouldn't be done with an RGB camera. The fingerprint scanner is what he means. And as somebody that owns an iPhone 10, I will fully admit that I don't like Face ID and I miss my fingerprint scanner. The Razer phone has one, right?
The Razer phone's fingerprint scanner isn't that good. I have a Huawei MediaPad, and and Huawei's fingerprint scanner. I wish Huawei had made the fingerprint scanner on my Razer phone, because it is perfect 100% of the time. Whereas my Razer phone,
Right.
It'll get to a point where I actually need to reconfigure my finger, because it'll have, like, I don't know, forgotten, or I'll have somehow changed the molecular positioning of my fingerprint, and the stupid phone doesn't figure it out. But I still like the fingerprint thing. I think it,
Okay. That's fair. I miss that too. And the minute they come up with like an actual like usable version of the in-screen fingerprint reader, I cannot wait for that to come back. I will totally admit that.
Screen, picture-in-picture thing that people want, adaptive sound that customizes the audio output for a personalized hearing profile.
You mean that thing they called Dolby Atmos, which is also a theater technology, but they wanted to market it in a phone? Yeah, okay. Give me a break.
Better notification system, widgets that actually are widgets, the ability to change the look and feel of the device through Samsung themes, like, can I say dark mode, ladies? Honestly, the list of what the Note has over the iPhone.
Pause that real quick.
Is long.
Yeah.
I will say this this one thing, this when I got my my first Android phone, that was a huge thing for me. Have you ever disliked the way an app looks? So you go online, or you Photoshop your own icon and then you put it in there, and then you use that.
I haven't
as your
gone
icon?
that far.
Really?
I used to run like custom icon packs and stuff like that, and I am jailbroken that I could do that. After a certain point, I did stop caring. Like, have you done that on your Razer phone yet?
Yeah, actually I did.
Really?
There just came a point where I was like, so here was one actually. It was a couple months ago. Someone was like, the iPhone 10 looks really good. I like the way their apps look better than Android apps. So then what I did was I downloaded the iPhone 10 background, changed all the apps to the iPhone 10 apps, just like downloading the images on Google, and then showed them, and was like, that was like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, and I have that. And I really like that you can do that. It's not like a big selling point. It's just cool. That's one of the things
I think more what he's talking about is kind of like the layout of the apps, not necessarily like I totally get the themes, and it is really cool that you can do that. But the problem is you have to take the time to go make your own icon, or hope and pray that your icon pack has every app that you have.
You just go to Google. Just go to Google.
I mean, yeah, but if you wanted to match the theme, you want to get it from a pack. Like, otherwise you're going to have like different designs for everything.
Yeah, I mean, then again, yes and no. Nova Launcher. Have you ever heard of Nova Launcher?
Yeah, I use it. I have it on my Pixel.
Oh, awesome. They actually, Razer, they gave you Nova Launcher Prime when you bought the phone for like the whole thing.
That's actually really fucking cool.
No, that was really cool of them to do. I was kind of surprised when they did that, but that does help with those like design flaws that you're talking about, where you have like a certain idea of how you want your phone to look. I'm sure you already know. You said you had it, but like either way,
right.
So like, if you're
But
one of those
I
people
think
who like to customize their stuff, and I'm super customized with my tech, because that's the thing I care about the most. That's for me. That's not like a huge selling point, because like you said, you're not really that kind of guy. So I get that.
Yeah, but I think again more what he's talking about is like the layout of the app once you're inside of it. Like I think he said
The device through Samsung themes, like, can I say dark mode, ladies?
dark mode right there. It is like an infamous thing for anybody that has Android right now. The YouTube dark mode has been added and removed so many times it's not even funny. And it's been a thing for over a year. Not over a year. It's been a thing this entire year on iPhone. Like a Google app got dark mode on iPhone, on iOS, before Android, and they've been teasing it ever since. Like, I don't get the excuse for that. There's a lot of apps on iOS that have a better layout than Android. And again, it goes back to the thing that we talked about when we were talking about consoles and everything like that. Let's say you're an app developer, right? You have the choice of making one app that runs well on fucking like millions of devices easily by coding it for an iPhone. Or if you're making an Android app, you have to make sure everything is in check for thousands of Android devices. Like, it goes back to the PC console thing where you don't know the hardware that's in every phone. There's a reason why Snapchat videos, and everybody that uses Snapchat in the chat is going to agree with this, I hope. If you're not, you're lying to yourself. I'm sorry. Snapchat videos look a lot better on iPhones and like utter dog crap on Android, right? And it's because there's so many different camera modules on Android that when you take a video through Snapchat, you are quite literally screenshotting or screen recording the viewfinder.
Yep. Yeah.
That sucks. And
It
you
does.
can't blame them. There's too many different phones to support. Meanwhile, on iPhone, it's been almost fine and flawless since day one. Snapchat's been infamously bad. Instagram runs into the same problem. There's not much they can do to fix it.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure Samsung phones just pretty much as big. They don't have that same problem. Like the big flagship phones don't. Like so
No, they do.
You're saying that Samsung phones do have that?
Android video quality. I am fairly certain they do.
I
Let's
heard
see.
differently for Android, or not Android, for Samsung. But I knew
I
Apple.
don't see anything. Yeah, see, this was taken with the Pixel XL, and it still has the same problem. This is getting compared to an iPhone 6.
Right. Wait, what's going on there?
On first glance, the Android picture quality might look a bit better, so let's just focus on the zoom area. But it's grainy and pixelated, and it says that it's because it's not much of a higher resolution because it's getting screenshotted.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the fault of Android. It's not even something wrong with your phone. This one's on Snapchat's development team, and Instagram goes through this same exact problem.
That's super sucky.
It does suck. It's really bad. But there's not much you can do about it, like regardless of the phone that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish that we didn't have to go through that, but that is one of the things that swayed me over. Like, imagine one of the biggest selling points of a phone is is the camera, right? If the camera is fucking fantastic, it's probably going to sway you to get that phone. Imagine having this stellar camera, but you can't use it in your favorite social app. Like, you can, but you're not getting that same quality that you paid for in that app.
Well, I will say, it would be nice to see my HD junk as I send it out over Snapchat. I'm just messing around. I don't do that. But
You need every pixel possible.
yeah, I want to get every micro scale of that little sucker. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Honestly, the list of what the Note has over the iPhone is long. iOS is easy. iOS is simple. That's what makes it so wonderful, etc., etc. And most of the time, I agree with you. But it's not productive to talk Android versus iOS. I mean, the Note has these features because it's an Android phone and not an iPhone. I know, and I also understand that
That's a
a
good
lot
point.
of people like the way the iPhone works, and that's totally fine as well. I don't begrudge anyone that, but I want to make this comparison between the Note 9 and the XS Max to simply illustrate this. Now that we've seen the XS Max, the Note 9 has become the best value in plus-size smartphones right now, probably for the rest of the year. Yeah, it's crazy town. We've got a $1,000 phone that is comparatively a bargain when placed against Apple's offering in the same market segment. For $999, you get the flexibility and storage, and you get all the features I mentioned, and also the S Pen. But with the Max, you can't get through the door for less than $1,100, only for 64 gigs. To get what I have with my Note 9, if I were to want to jump over to the Max and get rid of the Note, I'd be paying close to $2,000.
That's the big
And
problem that I
wouldn't
have.
all of those features. I would have a giant iPhone. That's all the XS Max is. It's a big iPhone. The Note 9 is a lot more. It's intended to be a lot more. In a battle between the XS Max and the Note 9 wins with the S Pen tied behind its back. It's
Do you agree? Without the S Pen.
Okay,
And I know this is tough because you don't like Samsung either.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing in this guy, and I would have actually, if someone sent me this video, his intro was bad enough, I would have stopped then.
I
but
almost closed it, yeah.
Had I continued further, I would have stopped because this is a fanboy video, and I'm not. I mean, that's the perfect video to be debunking, like we are doing right now.
Right.
But yeah, what I say when it came to value, here's the problem: value is subjective. This is the biggest problem with phones, and this is why people like him can't attract people like you and I, because we have things we look for in our devices. I wanted something that had good battery life. I wanted something because I used to love being able to change out my battery. I wanted something that had good sound quality, and these speakers are actually nice enough where whenever we listen to music, I just turn my phone up to full volume and put music on. And they're not the best speakers, but like they get the job done, and I like that. No headphone jack, that kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Would you agree that it's dying, or
the headphone jack?
Yeah,
I think that it's
on mobile devices.
I think that it's forcibly being shoved out, and that sucks because I was hoping that USB-C audio would sound okay, and from everything I've seen from everyone who reviews it, it's garbage compared to a headphone jack. And DAC is okay. It's just so inconvenient. It's I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that's even a thing. So
you're gonna hate me, and this is gonna get me in some real deep shit with the chat. But ever since I got AirPods, I really haven't used anything else on my phone.
See, and okay, I don't disagree that Bluetooth is getting better, but it's just I don't think until I see the evidence or hear the evidence, I don't think that it's going to get to a point where I'm going to be able to put on Bluetooth headphones and then listen to something from a headphone jack, a wired connection, and go, that does sound practically the same. Like a wired connection is just going to sound better. But it looks like Bluetooth is where it's going, and that's just what we're going to have to deal with because that's just where the market is, and it sucks.
And I feel like this is why we use wired headphones. Like, I'm wearing a pair of Sennheiser HD 650s right now because I enjoy high-quality audio when I'm at home.
HyperX
when
Cloud
I'm in the
2s.
gym, when I'm at the gym, I don't care as much. When I'm riding the shuttle to a different campus, I don't care as much. And I'm not going to be wearing these huge-ass headphones on my head, right? And there's very, very rare cases where spend a lot on really high quality in-ear monitors instead.
And I see the convenience in Bluetooth, and I'm probably going to end up jumping on board as well. I just haven't found a pair that I really like yet. So
I would, and you're gonna don't blast me, please. I would actually give AirPods a shot
for my Android phone.
Yes. No, I gave my dad my old Nexus 6, and he's been using it ever since. And he also has a pair of AirPods, and he loves them. They work just as well on Android as they do as an
You know
iPhone.
what? I have a few companies that have sent me over some Bluetooth headphones. And I've got like 4 pairs so far. So what I'm gonna do, I'll buy some AirPods. God, I cringe saying that, but I'll buy some I'll buy some AirPods.
This is why we do this, folks.
I'll buy some AirPods, and I will test all 4 of them, or 5 of them then, and see which one sounds the best. I'll go to the store and get a nice pair of Android blah blah blah, Bluetooth ones, because I don't know.
And don't let it just be like the sound experience, because the main selling point behind AirPods isn't that they sound better than any other
It's the convenience
headphones.
of them, right?
It's the convenience of it. It's being able to wear one at a time, charge them while you're using them, not having a wire around your neck. So keep that in mind, and I will be unbelievably ready to look at that.
It's really funny. It's really funny. I just said that I would buy some AirPods, and it went from 430 something people to 401. They're like, nope, we're done.
Oh, don't let them do that to you, bro. That's good though, because if you're right about it, you get to reaffirm that.
Exactly.
This is why we're having this conversation. That this wasn't just to like rub it in each other's faces or anything like that. The reason that Barry and I are doing this is because we want to like have a conversation about it. We're not trying to convince each other that we're right and that's it. I'm trying to. When I came to Barry with this video, I'm like, hey, I know you're an avid investor. I want to see if the theories that I have in my head are true or not. And we've been arguing that back and forth ever since then, and I think it's been productive.
It has. Yeah. And what's the finish up of this video? Is it just like him just...
It's crazy to even think about it.
I think so.
You can get more for less with the Note 9. But when it comes to the XS Max, you get a lot less for a lot more.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Pause that right
Thanks so much.
Hang on. No. Actually, I do want to hear you rebuttal that. Because from what I've heard about the S9, that's not an unfair point. You are technically getting quite a bit more, feature-wise, and product-wise, out of your phone for less money. So what do you have to say about that?
Camera on the XS Max beats out the Note 9. They're comparing it more to the Pixel 2 right now. Because I use the camera more often, to me, the iPhone XS Max is a better phone. The features that he's been listing about the Note 9, I don't care about. I don't care about the S Pen, right? I'm okay paying $99 more or iMessage. I'm okay paying $99 more for an A12 processor that beats out the A11 processor, which has still not been contested by the Snapdragon 845. I'm okay paying $99 more for that. I'm also okay paying $99 more for FaceTime, for the rest of the ecosystem. AirPods work great with it. I have an Apple Watch. I'm already stuck in that ecosystem. No other company out there right now, including Google. The reason I have a Pixel is because I was trying to do that. No other company's doing that right now. That to me is worth $99. Where to him, saving $99 is worth, you know, having the Note 9's S Pen and being able to take remote selfies. Right outside of that, no, and I don't mean that in like a dickish way.
No, I know.
I mean that I don't know what he means. What does the iPhone not have? What does it have so much less of? Besides the S Pen, which people can easily write off, just like they can write off like the notches of the iPhone 10 for all I care, for that much less. And the main problem that I had with this video was he's calling the iPhone 10 a $2,000 device and the Note 9 a $999.
Right.
That was the main issue.
Yeah, he's being unfair. He is being unfair.
It's entirely unfair.
Right. And I agree with that because
virtually no one called him out on it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I look at a video like this and I think it seems like the dude has, at least in this video, no other personality other than I'm a happy guy who likes this product. You should like it too. And I mean, it's
people defending what they already have. I mean, videos like a few videos before this, he was posting a Note 9 review and he called it the perfect phone. Like, not only are you judging a phone before it's out, but on top of that, you're letting a $99 difference. You're telling people what to buy, and that's. Yeah. I just don't know. Like, the phone's not even out yet. There are people that have different tastes than you do, but objectively, you're not being fair. You do not get to call the iPhone XS Max that starts technically only $100 more than your phone does. You don't get to call that a $2,000 phone and say, oh, you're paying double for so much less. Like that was the main problem that I had with the video. The fact that people don't know that Samsung Premium Care is a thing, that he didn't even bring that up, that he brought up Apple Care on top, like he added just $200 out of thin air to make it a $2,000 phone versus the $1,000 Note 9. It didn't seem fair, and that's why I got so riled up about it. You know what I mean?
Okay, so now actually this is going to be the funny part because the second video that I had in store for Dev was from an Apple fanboy kid who is talking about why I don't know why Apple is just the best company ever, and and now it's going to be the opposite. Instead of like the Android fan, it's going to be the hardcore Apple fan. And I'm really looking forward to your opinion on this one.
I have a question for you though. Do you want to do this one, or do you want to do one of your I Hate Apple videos?
Oh, okay. So here's what I want to do. If you're good with doing just these three today, right? And if you had a good time with these, we can come back and we'll do the 4K one and my Apple one. Okay,
I can totally get behind that.
Awesome. So this is our first kind of like get to know what we're doing here.
Man, this guy only has 1,000 views, and you want me to?
Well, hang on a minute.
It's you're shitting on him.
Well, hang on a minute.
Who the fuck
hang on a minute.
1,000 view video.
Hang on a minute. I didn't like search this dude out. These videos are sent to me, and secondly, I never did.
It's probably like another student in some kid's class.
Maybe, who knows, man? But if the information's fun to toy with, it's fun to toy with. What with that other guy, right? He only had what 96K subscribers, right? That's less than me. I could be like, why are you picking on this dude? You know, like
shut up, man. That's more than I have.
No,
I'm messing with you.
I know. Hey, people in the chat, speaking of that, they're telling you to upload more.
Oh, I have something on the way. Don't you worry. There's a reason why Barry and I are doing this. I do have something on the way. The problem is I live in Arizona. It's hot outside, and I have to film the video in a car. And I can't have the fan on for mic noise, so it's been nearly impossible to film lately. Also, I work full time. So I will be getting something out. I'm sorry I took a year break. There was other stuff that came up. I'm going to put like one frame with like paragraphs of text explaining like what happened between it, because that's not the whole story. But like the fact, a lot of people have been sending me, not a lot, but a few people have been sending me messages on Twitter that have been in my requests, and it means the world to me. Like straight up, I don't know if I have been able to respond to all of them, but the fact that people were like sending me messages a year later saying like, hey, when are you gonna upload? You guys are awesome. And the fact that a lot of you are sticking around for which just like a playful argument with me and Barry between two brand identities, essentially.
I mean, that's
is
what it
awesome,
turned into.
Yeah, because Barry and I, at the end of the day, do love each other. We are getting married soon. No, I'm kidding. Like we Barry and I are like, I can talk to you about this kind of stuff, and I'm not worried that you're gonna hang up,
No,
and that's
we're,
awesome.
We're both open-minded people with opinions,
Yeah.
and they're subject to change if the evidence is good enough. So, and
Exactly.
you know, I like that.
And we came to so many more agreements on that last video than I thought we were going to. This one, on the other hand, let's see how.
I
this
actually
makes-
so a little story about this one. When I first saw this one, someone sent it to me, and I was like, I'm not making a video on this. Come on, and I kind of just threw it into like one of my other. I have like a folder full of just links from YouTube videos. But then when you said, hey, I have some Apple blah blah blah, or I have like Android, I pulled this one
Okay.
out and was like, you know what? I haven't seen it, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. It's just one of those.
Oh, you haven't seen this?
No.
Okay.
So like I'm going into it blind, just as you.
Okay.
So
I can work with that.
me too.
Let's
I'm
do
ready.
it then. I don't know how much of this I can defend, but let's see.
Yeah, watch him be like a
Tech
super
Talks,
genius.
and today we're going to be making a video about just Apple in general. And I apologize if the angle is a little bit lopsided. I'll try to fix it in editing, but I'm not exactly sure. My tripod kind of broke, one of its legs kind of
What?
broke, and I'm trying to repair it right now. But if the framing is incorrect, I'm very sorry. But anyway, today, as you probably guessed by the title, we're
The
talking about 10
inspirational
reasons why Apple is the best. Now, there are so many things that Apple does wrong, and I am going to make a whole nother video about that, so thumbs up if you want to see that. But today we're going to be talking about what Apple does well, because they do a lot of good stuff as well, apart from all the things they don't allow us to do, and all the things they still haven't added to the iPhone or their other products. So yeah, here are the top 10 things,
Oh, here we go.
or
Now
10
the video
reasons
started.
why
3D
Apple
text.
is the best.
By the way, I am reading chat. I can see you guys talking about my voice in the
Yeah, they
comments.
keep telling me. They keep telling me. To
I
tell
just
you
want
your
them to
voice
know
is
that
nice.
I'm reading it too. I have it open like right next to the video.
Awesome.
Number 1, Apple is in control of pretty much the software and the hardware experiences. Unlike other companies, Apple is responsible for making their hardware as well as their software. So yeah, Apple has people who design for the iPhone and design how it looks and how it feels, the materials used, and how it's just all gonna come together. All the sensors and everything, it's all controlled.
Wait a
and
minute. No,
decided
that's not
by
true.
Apple.
Hang on.
The soft-
Stop the video real
Okay,
quick. 'cause
here
that-
comes the whole like Samsung makes a screen.
Well,
Go
wait a
ahead.
minute, because hang on.
Go ahead.
It's not that that's even a bad thing. Like, yes, Samsung did make the screens for the last gen iPhones, but like even then, there's no problem there. You know, like HTC
Yeah.
collaborates with a lot of companies to make that. Google did too. Actually,
Jesus,
Google
I haven't heard that
collaborated.
name in years.
Google or HTC?
HTC.
Google, I think, collaborated with HTC to make the Google Pixel, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it them? I remember
Maybe
they
I'm
did
wrong
Huawei
about
for the
that.
6P. But they did have that squeeze feature, which was HTC. Anyways.
Either
Yeah,
way.
Go ahead.
So, I don't know. I just don't know what, like, it's cool that Apple, the in-house thing, but like, I don't know.
I think what he means. Let me finish this point. I might be able to
Sure.
explain it better.
Software to iOS is also made by Apple. The software, there are software designers and software engineers at Apple whose job is specifically to work on the software. And that is where iOS comes in, and that is also controlled, and every element of it is decided by Apple. So that's the first reason, and just having that experience of the company controlling both your hardware and software to make the most seamless experience definitely shows, and people can definitely feel it in day-to-day use. You might not be able to feel that in other phones like Android phones.
Okay, so what I think he's talking about is things like 3D touch, where they come up with the hardware, and they have the software designed around it, right? So you have this really good new feature, like this new hardware capability, and then you design software around it. When Apple came out with the pressure-sensitive touchpads on their MacBooks, right? They realize, oh, there's stuff that we can do with this. And sure enough, in QuickTime, if you try fast-forwarding a video, like you click fast-forward, the harder that you press on the trackpad, the faster it fast-forwards, right? That's a really lame example, but it's touches like that all over. I'm serious. When it's a lame example, but it's touches like that that make you realize that, oh, the same people that designed this hardware also made the OS. Google made the OS, the Android, obviously, and when Samsung uses it, there are certain things that Samsung cannot change. This is why Tizen was such a big push a year or two ago, and then it ended up on a fucking refrigerator. Because, like, there's a limit to how much Samsung can edit. And I think that's what he's getting at. There's a little bit more control that Apple can have over their products and make them work exactly the way they want to. If I think of a better example besides that little fast forward thing, I'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. But I kind of get what he's trying to say, and it was one of the reasons why the Macs did so well in the earlier days, right? And it's why OS X only ran on Macs and they never licensed it out on a computer.
Okay.
Am I wrong on that, or?
I don't really have anything to add. I could argue, like, why is it a problem if companies come together, blah blah. But I see a benefit in that, and I actually see a lot of benefit in that when it comes to video games and other markets as well. So I can understand that being a big plus. So I'm good with that.
Okay.
The second reason is that they support old devices for a very long time.
Yes.
Longevity. This basically means that software updates come to older devices for at least 4 to 5 years. So right now, the iPhone 5, which came out in 2012, is the oldest device that supports iOS 10, and iOS 10 was released last summer. So it's been like 4 years, almost 5 years since the iPhone 5 was released, and still it runs iOS 10. Although I would not say that it's the most seamless experience anymore. Either way, their support to bring new features and new security measures to older devices is really a nicely added feature that Apple has done for a long time and is known for doing.
That is insanely important. That is ridiculously important. iOS 12 runs on, I believe, the 5S. I could be wrong. It's one of the things when I had my Android phone that I was unbelievably jealous of. I would have to wait, like whenever I had a Samsung Galaxy or something like that, I would have to wait down to my specific carrier model to get an update to, say, ice cream sandwich or something like that. This goes as far back as the iPhone 5S. That if you bought an iPhone 5S, and with how much people are saying iOS 12, which I've also experienced, with how much people are saying that it speeds up your phone, having an iPhone 5S and buying that 5-6 years ago and knowing that you're still getting security updates, new features, and it's running better, that's insane. That's a huge reason why I ended up sticking with an iPhone. Because when I got a new feature, everyone else around me got a new feature.
I think that's kind of cool too, but wasn't that also the reason that it was causing the battery problems and the CPU problems, and it was like shutting phones down, all that they had to remedy with that whole software decision?
They added a toggle because the reason they were doing that was a damn good one.
No, I agree.
I agree. That absolutely was, yeah. So I would rather Apple make that decision to, if you've had a phone for 3-4 years and they know from hidden diagnostics, they know that the battery health is not as good. I would much rather my phone slow down than completely shut off. But yes, that was part of what was behind it. It was an update that told it to do that.
Okay. So, I see the importance of that, and that's really cool because everyone knows that the second that they stop supporting that, that's when you run into security issues with your phone. You need to upgrade practically like the second that happens.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I have nothing else to say. That's just really cool. I'm trying to like come up with something, but I'm like, no, that's just cool. That's just good that they do that.
Yeah, it's just a good feature. It's a good point.
It was the reason though that I had to switch from my iPhone 5, which was the last phone I had, because I got up to iOS 7 and my phone started dying at 50%. So I was like, well, crap. And that was
lo
way
and
before.
behold, that was before the battery health
way
changes
before
were
the
put
battery
in.
health. Yeah, exactly. So it was like there was nothing I could do, and for a long time that was kind of crappy. So good that they fixed it, because there's just sometimes technology limits itself, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah,
so it's
and
cool
I think that's what sucked. So many people thought it was just Apple intentionally slowing down phones so that they would have to upgrade. It's like, dude, that's really not it. Whoever told you that, whichever publication told you, it was because they wanted you to buy a new iPhone. They have their head straight up their ass. That's not the point. Lithium batteries die. There is a limit to how many times you can recharge a battery and how much power it outputs, right? It's God, it was just a horrible argument. Luckworm makes a really good point. Like, touch disease was a real thing, but I have never seen, outside of Samsung reacting to their Note 7 batteries exploding, I've never seen a company react that quickly to a legitimate hardware problem with their phones. And I think updates, if the fact that you can be running a 6-year-old phone and still have the same iOS version that I do and all of the same features that I do is mind-boggling. And I wish Android did that, but it's so fragmented that you can't. And the Pixel lineup is one of the only ones that can. Pixel and I believe OnePlus and for the longest time Essential, they were the only ones doing that. I don't understand why Samsung has to wait to get updates cleared through Verizon, Sprint, like the carriers and everything like that. I don't know why.
That is actually kind of crappy.
I don't know why Apple gets away with it and no other manufacturer can. There's no excuse to not support a phone longer than 2 years, etc. But I don't know. I think we both agree that's a pretty good point. But at the same time, we wish more manufacturers were like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
The third reason is that their designs are just timeless. Let me just get out I'll just bring back some old phones, old iPhones that are from several years ago, and maybe would seem like a little old to you now, but their design is still amazingly beautiful, unlike many other Android phones from their time. Give me 1 second. So here I have the iPhone 4S. This came out in 2011. This was the first iPhone my family ever owned. And I just want to look a little bit on the design right now. So essentially, the antenna bands have been there since the iPhone 4 came out.
So I mean, you kind of know what he's saying already. Do you agree with that?
Kind of to a degree, I do, but like really, I don't as well. Apple kind of can get a little silly with how they design their phones. Like with the iPhone 5, a lot of people just made fun of. It's just a bigger phone, and then their older phones are kind of bug ugly. But then again, you can say the same about Android phones. Like as the technology got better and flatter, like it just looks better now. But then again, that style could change too, and we could think that our phones now look like crap.
I think you have to really compare it to what was out at the time, and the iPhone was really one of the only things that was made of glass and metal or anything like that at the time. I mean, the Galaxies all the way up until the S6 were made of plastic. So I get what he's saying about the design. It doesn't make them better. There were a lot. God, when I was using Android all the way before the Galaxy S7 Edge, there were so many reasons to own an Android phone or iPhone, but one of them was never the design. The design of the iPhone always looked classier. It always looked better. It was just the functionality of the Android phones that worked so much better. In almost every sense.
The HTC Ones at the time
did
look really good, though.
And why was it? It was because they started using aluminum materials. They started using metal materials, and they actually stepped their game up. And because of that, HTC, I would argue that one of the reasons why the M7, like the first HTC One, got so popular is because it looked like it actually had some care put into it. It didn't feel like this slab of plastic in your hand.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Today, I think that these hold up the best in terms of design compared to other devices from that time that they were released.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
The fourth feature is that their devices are very thin. Now, you've noticed that Apple...
That's a weird point.
Yeah,
I mean... If you look back...
Yeah.
So are Android.
Pretty much any product they've made, they've almost always made it thinner, with the exception of maybe the iPhone 6s or the iPad 3, where they made it a little bit thicker, but usually they shrink down their product's thickness a lot. So, I mean, it's not necessarily good.
I wouldn't
okay,
necessarily
so-
agree with this.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, but I've seen a lot of phones that were developed around the whole point was it being the thinnest phone on the market. So I mean, I don't know. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But for some people, they don't like thin.
I would rather have a bigger battery. I cannot stand, and Apple is so guilty of this, and they've been guilty of this since I believe the 6. I can't stand camera bumps on the back of the phones.
Oh,
Just
really?
Give me a bigger battery and make it a flat surface. I can't touch my iPhone without it. Like, listen, here, my iPhone's laying flat on the table. If
Okay.
I tap any corner of this,
Yeah.
it's rocking back and forth. The Galaxies, I believe, up until this recent generation did this. The Pixel, I don't think does it, but iPhone has been doing this for 5-6 years, and it pisses me off so much. I can't stand it. There's a point when being thin is not the most important thing in the world, and I say that as somebody that has like the 12-inch MacBook, which is like the super ultra thin, like thinner than air one.
No.
That, see, I'm okay with that because the battery lasts long enough, and I don't need that type of power to type up a Word document or check my email or something like that, right? I like a thinner device, and it's basically an iPad with a keyboard. At the same time, I would have preferred more power and more battery by making it just thicker. So being thin is not really important. Yeah, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
really neat.
what I like about thin, and I mean, I really can't say much. I mean, if you've seen the Razer phone, it looks like a brick.
that's a brick, yeah.
No, it is. And but the thing is, 4,000 milliamp battery, just like you're saying.
Exactly.
And my
Yeah.
camera, it is flushed with the phone, pretty much perfectly. So, yeah. So I can see from both ways. But what was the phone? I think it was the Essential phone. And that one was the one that came out in 2017 that said it had everything that you'd ever want and was super thin at the same time.
Yeah.
And I almost got behind that one. I almost did. So I can understand, like, it's just the different reasons. This seems more like, actually the last two points from this guy seem more personal opinion than it is objectively great.
Even the last one was the update one, wasn't it?
Was it? Well, then maybe
Am I just? Do I just have terrible fucking
no.
memory?
Wait, because we.
Oh no, it was the design thing.
Yeah,
okay,
the
so the last
design.
2 points are yeah, because design is entirely based on preference, but at the same time, kind of objectively, they were using better materials.
I mean, they were using.
But yeah.
No, yeah, they were using better materials, yes. But like design wise, I could have preferred the flip phone.
I can't
with
tell
the-
you what looks good.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I totally get that.
You know, these phones as well, they've always been incrementally thinner, so
that
as
doesn't
you can
matter.
see, sort of look kind of clunky. So yeah, that's just something that needs to be acknowledged. Even if other companies are doing this, Apple has very consistently been doing this with their new MacBook and their MacBook Pro. They're amazingly thin devices. The fifth reason is that their brand is recognized worldwide, meaning that if you have a product that has the Apple logo on it, people are going to recognize it instantly and say, well, that person has an iPhone, iPad, MacBook, whatever, and that's a really nice brand. And you know, it gives you a certain status that you won't get with some other phones. Doesn't necessarily mean Apple products are better.
Yeah,
It just means that
I don't know.
socially they can increase your chances and
I don't know.
benefit
I don't know about this one either.
Number
It
6,
seems
their
like
software up-
he's taken like a step ladder kind of downstairs a little bit. Cause I'm not buying a phone so that people will look at me and go, "Oh, luxury," you know.
Yeah, it's not a car.
No.
In some ways, it does have a status symbol. God, that's a really hard one. It shouldn't be this hard, but in high schools, it is absolutely a status symbol. It's like, hey, if you message me, we're going to be able to iMessage kind of a thing. I mean, this goes into the
Yeah,
whole like blue
actually.
bubble versus green bubble thing.
No,
I
seriously.
kind of get it.
Like, there's a thing with that. Oh my god.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it's there for a reason.
When I first got an Android phone, I texted a friend of mine, and she's like, "Wait, your bubble's not, what is it, blue if you have an iPhone?"
Yes.
She's like, "Your bubble's not blue anymore. What happened?" I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious?" Oh man. I mean, I don't know.
There's a reason she hates that. Do you use Facebook Messenger at all? Or do you use like Hangouts or anything like that? What do you use besides texting?
Okay. I use Facebook Messenger is a good one. That I'll use. Twitter, I use Twitter all the time. Google Hangouts not so much. Why? What is the...
Okay, so why do you use Facebook Messenger if you have their number?
Why do I use Facebook Messenger if I have their number?
Yeah.
I don't know, I never really thought about that. I think just... You know what?
I know why.
You know what?
I know why.
It's
because you have read receipts. Yeah, it's convenient. You have read receipts. You don't have a limit on how much you can text. If you send a photo, it's full quality. If you send a video, it's full quality, and it's a rich chat experience. iMessage is that same thing, except you don't have to go convince somebody to add you on another platform or go download a different app. When we sell phones, it's just there, and it's in the same app. And Android is so gosh darn close to getting this with RCS, but Google keeps pushing it back because they can't get the carriers on board. The thing about iMessage is that they skip the carrier entirely, right? It's all in one app. You don't have to switch to another one. Let's say that you want to video call somebody, right? If you video call somebody else with an iPhone, all that you have to do is know their phone number and hit FaceTime. If you want to do that on Android, you have to add them on Hangouts, or you have to get them to go download Skype, or you have to go get them to download Discord or whatever. We're getting off track of status symbols, but that's why that blue bubble, green bubble thing is a thing. It matters
to people.
Because
right.
They get to see if you're typing, they get to see if you read their message, which may or may not be a good thing depending on who you are. But it's a rich chat experience. It's like talking to somebody on IRC versus Discord. Like that's one of the better comparisons that I can make. I understand why people like it. It is not an excuse to not talk to somebody. But it's not an excuse to shame them for it.
No one's ever done that. She did ask me like why I chose Android, but like and that was a conversation, but but yeah, okay. So I guess I can see it's not status. I'm not going to look at someone. Oh, seriously though, if I do look at someone on the street and I notice they have an iPhone, and then I look at someone else and I notice they have like you know what's interesting though is being an Android user, when I see someone with a Google Pixel, I'm far more interested and curious in their phone.
Yeah, you are. That's what he's saying. I feel like that's actually what he's going for. And for other iPhone users, I think when you see someone using brand new XS Max, as gaudy and materialistic as it sounds, you kind of get the same vibe. You're like, wow, you already have that phone. How is it? How do you like it? If you saw someone else on the street with a Razer phone, you would be all over them.
Oh, dude, I'd be like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I got that too.
So it is an expression of yourself. The problem is Apple has a lot more people using it, so you're not getting as good of a read on somebody as if they had like a Razer phone. It is one of the hardest things to admit, but I feel like we all do it.
Yes,
to a certain point.
It might be a universal like person thing because it's like, oh, that's a similar thing that I do. But then, if you're gonna say that with more people having iPhones and whatever, then I'll just be like, well, maybe people with different phones have better character. I don't know. Maybe that, I don't know.
I can't use this as a fucking LG. Oh God, I'm going to the other side of the street.
Yeah.
I'm never coming to this coffee shop ever again.
Ever again. You allow iPhoners in here?
The entire coffee shop gets up and leaves.
There's it's a split. There's an iPhone side and an Android side.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Anyways.
And benefit you in some way or another. Number 6, their software updates are free and available to most devices immediately. So this comes again to my longevity point.
That's a huge one, though.
But also
I already agree. That is a huge one, and we've already talked about this one. But like you guys, when you get updates, you get them from the get-go. I was lucky enough. Razer got 8.1 Oreo right out of the box when they got their phone shipped out. That was cool. But like some phones, dude, it takes a long time before they get Oreo, and sometimes they don't even get it. That sucks, and that should be that should just be done way better. I don't know why it's not. We've already talked about that. I agree. I 100% agree with that point.
I'm glad. Yeah, I think it's a hard one to disagree with too. And again, when we talk about this, because we had a really big discussion about this for anybody that's just joining and didn't see what we talked about with the Painfully Honest Tech video. We agree on this, and it's not that we think the iPhone is better. I mean, it is better at doing that. We just want the other manufacturers to do better on that. Right? I don't understand why Microsoft can push Windows updates to millions of different configurations of PCs, but when it comes to Android, carriers will halt it for months on end, making sure that they can put their bloatware on it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why
and
are
actually,
there different variants?
I think that's why it's so much better to use a third-party Android phone than a Samsung phone. And this is my argument for this. Is the Razer phone, the OnePlus, the Essential phone, the Google Pixel, other than Google's bloatware that they put on there because they're Google and they have their apps they want you to use, there is no bloatware. My phone came with no apps that I couldn't delete, other than Netflix. That was the only one that was on there that I couldn't delete, which is one that's just like a common download anyway app, right? And then also Nova Launcher Prime, but that was just like a gift. That was like really...
No, I'm kidding.
But the cool thing about that is because there's no bloatware, it seemed 8.1 Oreo was just able to launch on that phone, and that's great. I will always recommend, instead of getting a Samsung, if you're an Android person, you want to get into Android, instead of going Samsung, look around for a third party, a non-flagship, one that has features that maybe you're looking for. You know, because a lot of Android phones have a lot of different things to offer, and that's exactly why I personally picked the Razer phone, because it had a lot of things that I personally wanted. So
yeah. And it's weird to me that these third-party companies, they're not, third-party isn't a good term, that these smaller companies...
It does suck to call them that,
push out, they can push out updates to their devices like this, but some giant, like LG or Samsung can't do that. Why?
NFL Mobile?
You have... Oh, God. No, that's a good point, though. Like, if you buy almost any Verizon phone, because I'm assuming you have Verizon, right?
I don't anymore, no.
You don't anymore, but when you did, you had like 6 different Verizon apps. I sell these things for
more.
Any carrier
So
that you
much
get.
more.
Yeah, there's around like 10 different AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, or T-Mobile apps on there, and you can't do shit about it.
Nope.
iPhones day one have not had that. And it boggles my mind. I'm not saying that to put iPhone onto this huge pedestal. I'm saying that because I don't understand why Apple can get away with it and no one else can. I don't know why every other carrier has to deal with this and Apple
You know what I think it is? I don't think it has anything to do with they have to do this, they this and that. You know how much money they get for forcing NFL Mobile? And Apple, as money hungry as they can be, sometimes I'll just say you can disagree with me on that when we talk about my video that I've but they don't do that stuff. I think that's kind of cool. It's like if you ask Activision, why did you have to force microtransactions into your game? And they'll give you a reason they had to do it, but they didn't.
Yeah, okay.
They wanted the money,
you didn't.
right?
Why are there advertisements for cooking or like Candy Crush Soda Saga in my start menu right now?
Yeah.
Why is there an ad for Asphalt 8 in my start menu right now? I don't want this here. Just, oh, God. It just sucks.
Most phones, besides their main phone, the Pixel or the Nexus lineup, most other
We can
phones
kind of skip over most of this.
device immediately. The 7th reason why Apple is the best is that they have unique services like iMessage, iCloud, and Final Cut Pro, along with a handful of others like Pages, Keynote, and Numbers that you just will not find anywhere else.
You won't find Pages, Keynote, and Numbers on any other platform because nobody fucking wants it and immediately installs Office. Sorry. I can say that as a
Doesn't
fanboy.
mean that competitors haven't had competing services like this. Like, of course, Google has Google Messenger, Google Hangouts and Google Allo, and Microsoft is doing something with messaging as well. And then we also have Adobe Premiere to compete with Final Cut Pro, which some people say is better. And then we also have the Google Cloud, or the Microsoft Cloud, or Google Drive, which are nice cloud services. But there is something to be said about Apple's way of linking everything together with their services that I just find so nice, and that's part of why I chose the Apple ecosystem.
And I get what he's saying. We've already been over the iMessage argument. One thing we left out of that is just how many times Google has tried to get messaging right. Allo, Hangouts, Duo, Messages. Like, when are they going to get it right? I got tired of it. I left when Hangouts was supposed to be the be-all, end-all thing where you can text people like regular SMS text and send like actual Hangouts messages in through the same app. And then they took out texting support. Like, why?
They took it out. It's still there.
Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of Facebook messages. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Facebook Messenger. They took out SMS texting. That was years ago. My bad.
Okay, no worries. No worries.
But still, like, if you are on an Android phone and I want to send you a message, do I send it through Allo? Do I send it through Hangouts? Or do I send you a regular text? It's even worse on a Galaxy phone because Samsung makes their own SMS. Verizon makes their own SMS app, for God's sake. A lot of you listening probably have Verizon messages on your phone, and are either using it against your will, or you've already deleted it, but you can't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just...
Actually, when I had my Android phone, all that bloatware and everything, I downloaded a... it's not a root, but it's like a side root thing where you just, like, hide the APKs. And I got rid of all the apps. And, like... God, 20 of them were Verizon apps, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally got rid of them. When he said, though, the services, you know, the certain things, Final Cut Pro, the this and that, how often do you edit on your phone, like, ever?
No, but I think he's not just talking about the phone, because Final Cut isn't on iOS. I think what he means is that Final Cut Pro 10 is only available on OS 10. Or Mac OS, I guess now they're calling it. I think that's what he means. Like, Apple makes Final Cut Pro, they make GarageBand, they make Logic, all those kind of things. It's a weird one to bring up because, again, like he said, some people do prefer Premiere. But the thing is, if you are on PC, the only thing you've really known is Premiere or Vegas. Like, you haven't gotten to try Final Cut before. Whereas if you're on a Mac, you can try Final Cut, and some people do like it. I know MKBHD and a whole bunch of other tech YouTubers like Snazzy and John Rettinger and all of them like edit on Final Cut. But if they wanted to go to Premiere, they could. Like on a PC, you just can't, and that's because Apple makes the software. So it's not a fair comparison. I don't know why he brought that one up specifically, but yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think he's talking about phones though.
Well, I mean, the video encompasses, like, Apple in general, so it's...
Yeah.
But he's been talking about phones, so it was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And I think it's because they're more known for their phones, and he's trying to cover that base first, and then he's going to move on from that, so... Yeah.
The eighth reason is that the App Store is unlike anything else. Compared to the Play Store or Microsoft's App Store, it's just the Apple's App Store is huge. It's partly because they started it much earlier, but also just they led the revolution with apps. It's just a fact. They started the app revolution. They started the whole obsession with getting new apps, new games, new things that improve your life. And yeah, it all came down to when in 2008 they released the App Store. And now I believe the App Store has at least over 1 million apps, possibly 2 million apps. It's just crazy how many apps there are at this point. And plus, Apple recently has been cleaning out their App Store with apps that haven't been updated in a while to sort of provide people with the apps that they deserve. All right.
You have much to say on that? Because I think I could add one thing.
Go ahead and add your thing. There were a few things that I wanted to...
The App Store, I think what we're both about to say is that both platforms have the apps that matter. There is nothing really that you're going to find, give or take one or two, that you're going to find on one platform and not the other. And if there was, chances are those one or two have, like, you know, comparable apps on the other. The problem that I have, and this is a very unique experience because my parents have downloaded these before. A lot of my customers download these. And again, if you're just joining, I sell phones for a living. Like I actually work for the carriers. What we get a lot of is Android is not the safest platform, and there's so much trash in the Play Store that the average consumer, not you, not me, not anybody in this chat, will download. You know, I'm talking like cleaners, battery savers, junk, get rid ofers. You know what I mean? Like these asinine apps that change your home launcher, that change your lock screen without asking you, that throw ads in your notification center. That stuff isn't possible on iOS. This is not the point that he's trying to make, but it's a huge problem with Android that needs to be fixed. It should not be possible to change the lock screen as like an advertisement app on Android.
Yeah, and I was actually, it's funny you said that because I was going to say so he said the Apple App Store is unlike any other store. Like that's a blanket thing I could say about anything. Fine. However, it is very cool, and I commend Apple on this, that they do go through their App Store and they will they care about what they put on their store. That's more than you can say for Google and unfortunately for Steam, because there's a lot of crap. All you got to do is it goes up there, and really I think Google doesn't care because of the AdSense that it generates. Really, you know, you make a piece of crap app, you shove it up there, someone downloads it, it gets a little bit of ad revenue, they delete it, and then it goes away.
The amount of Vine Sauce videos that I've seen just playing like these horrible like Fortnite ripoffs, Grand Theft Auto ripoffs, and they're just they're like Unity assets mashed into one game, and then they're just tossed on the App Store.
I made a couple videos on that, one for PUBG and then one for GTA 5. And there's a lot of stuff that you'll find on there that's just not very good. And then I'll also say Apple has been recently getting licenses, or at least early versions of games that Android simply doesn't have. They had PUBG first. Or maybe not. I think they did. They had Fortnite
and
then they also
sure.
have Hello Neighbor, which is a PC game that we don't have access to, which is funny to me because Asus starts making phones for gaming, and we have all these phones that are designed around gaming. The Razer phone has a very strong processor in there, and yet our store doesn't have access to these titles that we should be utilizing, that we could be. And I find that very interesting. So there's something that Android manufacturers, Google themselves, they need to work on that. That is a big thing. Their app store is, if it's a mess, no developer is going to take it seriously. That's just end of story.
It needs
right
to be moderated a hell of a lot harder.
It does.
It's ridiculous. But that whole thing about how iPhone was getting these apps first, like iOS was getting these apps before Android, it brings us back to that argument. If you are Bluehole or you're Epic Games, and you have the option of building for 4 or 5 different models of iPhone or thousands of different models of Android phones, which audience are you going to try to go after? Where are you going to focus your resources? And I don't think it's Apple making deals with these companies to make apps on their platform first, especially considering Samsung had to pay Epic to have like an exclusive skin to get that early release on the Note 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, and it still came out for iPhone first. It was really jarring seeing these signs go up around my store saying, you know, having Fortnite advertised when iPhone users have been playing it for weeks. And it brings us back to like, you want to reach these large audiences by developing for the easier platform. And it's just something that, because of how fragmented Android is, you can't really change. But the thing that you can change, undoubtedly, is moderating and cleaning up the Play Store and not letting stuff like that happen. The problem is, and I saw somebody in chat, and their parents download something that completely changed their lock screen to like an ad that they had to get rid of, right? The problem is you can't get rid of that without also getting without also getting rid of apps like Nova Launcher. Because you have the ability to change your home screens, but that comes at a price. And the price is that there are going to be bad developers out there. There are going to be people that just want to make money off ads. And if they can change your home screen to somebody who has no idea what the hell their home screen is, if they can change their home launcher to something that features an ad on one of the pages and make money off of every single time they see that, they're going to.
Yep.
And you know what? I don't blame them for doing that. Make your money. As scummy as that sounds, until they close a loophole that lets you do that, you're out of luck. You either shut them all down or you let the floodgates open.
Even if that's what they should do, and they can keep things like Nova Launcher and the what's that other big one? It does either way.
Apex or
yes, Apex.
Yeah.
You can keep these launchers, but just have someone, whenever an app is uploaded onto the store, have someone, before it gets uploaded, moderate that thing. See what it does to their phone. See what it does to a few different phones. That's their job. See what this application does. And if it's fine and good, pop it up there. You know?
But that's so difficult. There are not enough humans in the world for Google to employ to do that. And I don't understand why. I think this is why Apple is so good at it. They just took the option of, you know what, let's just not allow it. And that might have been the better option. We run into the same problem with like Content ID on YouTube. There are not enough people to sit through these videos and understand there's no actual copyright infringement. So instead, they have to rely on AI. And there's not an AI that can detect if something like has ads in it, for example, at least yet on the Play Store. Yeah. I think anything that says or that has the permission to change your home screen should immediately be reviewed by some AI. Literally just have it checked for fucking doubleclick.net. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. That's crazy. All right, next.
All right, the ninth reason is that their focus on pushing into the future, into wireless, for example, is really on point. So what I mean by that...
we're going to disagree on this, I know.
Intent on pushing everybody into the wireless future, which I personally support a lot. So I support the loss of the headphone jack. I support the AirPods. I support the omission of some of the legacy ports that have been on the MacBook for a while. I agree with all of that. I feel like the whole dongle issue is just something that will pass within the next year or so. So you should see that going away soon. Everybody switching to wireless, to Bluetooth, or another form of wireless connection. Apple and Apple is very, very well responsible for this change and for this transformation. They're trying to push the tech industry forward, and I think that's a great move by them. Finally,
okay, I'm gonna let you lead with that because I know that that's pissing you off.
Okay, so I was gonna say, well, right, fine, yeah, we're being led that direction, but that's against our will. That's like if we said, wait a minute, we want smaller screens, and the industry was like, yeah, screw you. Here's all these giant screens. There's nothing we can do about it. So yes, fine, but then here's the thing. The dongles thing going away? Yeah, that's true. The dongles thing are going to go away. They have headphones.
They already have.
They got the
headphones. 10S
headphones.
and the 10S Max don't include the headphone adapter anymore.
Right, and the Razer phone, I've got a DAC. But the thing is, USB-C headphones exist. And I mean, like I said earlier, they suck. They're not very good. At least as of right now, I don't know if they're gonna get better. If they can, headphone jacks are gonna sound better. If we're gonna be pushed away, fine, but like Apple didn't even lead that innovation. That was a different phone company. I don't remember who did it first, but there was I think it was one or two different companies started that, and Apple went along with it.
Wait, started what?
Removing the headphone jack? Yeah, USB-C.
But you can't honestly tell me that if Apple didn't remove the headphone jack, that anybody else would have followed suit.
No, of course not, and that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's fine to commend something that you like, but then to say that it's like the better thing, we're just being led that direction, and that's really the only option we have. That's not one of those things.
I feel like every manufacturer wants to do this, but they're waiting until they have a product good enough to do it. And if you're gonna, the headphone jack is a dying port on mobile devices, and for a lot of phones, it is already dead.
Yep.
For Samsung and LG to be the only manufacturers still including the port should tell you. OnePlus dropping it on the 6T should tell you that even these niche companies like OnePlus, Razer, and others, they don't care. When OnePlus released the Bullet headphones, they had an excuse to drop it, and they had an excuse to sell an accessory. Apple did this same thing with AirPods. The difference is, and this is my opinion, and I feel like a lot of people do share this opinion with me, AirPods were a good enough product to be able to drop the headphone jack. And for the people that were not ready, you could duct tape the adapter that came with the phone to the end of your headphones and forget it ever happened, right?
Yeah.
And that's at least the way that I see it. And because I bought the AirPods at the same time that I got an iPhone 7, I never really looked back. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do that, and I completely understand that. It's a position of privilege, honestly. I just don't know that the headphone jack is going to be around much longer, and I don't think it's fair to say that Apple is dumb for dropping that. People made the same argument when the MacBook Air shipped without a CD drive. It shipped without an actual disk drive. They said, oh, the MacBook Air is going to fail. No one is going to be ready for that. And that was Apple trying to lead the push into being like having the apps all downloaded. Everything was digital, exactly. So, and then even before that, the iMac, the original blue iMac, like the little kitty toy iMac, got rid of the floppy drive back then, and everybody said it was going to fail because you wouldn't be able to access your older peripherals and data that didn't work with CDs at the time. And look what happened. It was a huge hit. The iMac was a huge hit. The MacBook Air was a huge hit. And I think that same exact thing is happening with iPhones, and it's also happening with USB-C ports on the MacBook Pros right now. And I think it just takes time to get there. And I think that Apple is the only company that's not afraid to drop that first. No other company was really ready to ship anything with only USB-C ports. No other company was really willingly ready to drop the headphone jack. And I think in a few years, no one will care anymore. And that it sucks. We're in the growing pains right now. It sounds fanboyish to say this, but I think in a few years, you're going to look back and say, well, I have Bluetooth headphones. Why did I care so much? Or everything that I'm buying right now uses USB-C.
Maybe
Why did I care so much?
Maybe I will. And I don't think it's that the Bluetooth sucks or that it's not good enough for me. I think it's the fact that I don't have that choice anymore. It wasn't a natural progression like a lot of other things have felt like, right? So when the new MacBook...
What would have been?
Like, we could have heard more about Bluetooth before. Bluetooth still feels very new, at least Bluetooth headphones for my phone. That feels very new to me. Maybe I was out of the loop for a while, but
okay.
it just doesn't feel like a natural transition. Whereas I'm already, as of right now, ready for my computer to no longer have USB-C or USB 2.0 and 3.0 anymore. I want a computer that has nothing but USB-C front ports. That's what I want. I'm ready for that, right? Mm-hmm. Bring that on. I wasn't ready for the Bluetooth. And again, that might just be me. Maybe everyone else in the comments are like, you know what? Screw it. Headphones are great. Bluetooth ones, but I don't know.
And I think that's why they did, because the same crowd that was ready to buy the iPhone 7 when it came out was the same crowd that was pretty much ready to buy the AirPods when it came out too. And it wasn't such a big deal because it came with the adapter anyways. And look what happened. 2 years later, the adapter's not shipping anymore. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that is the transition that you were looking for. I don't think we'll agree on that, but the transition was including the adapter. I think a harder transition is when you ship a MacBook Pro that has 4 USB-C ports and you charge extra for the adapter. I think the MacBook Pro should have come with some type of USB-A to USB-C adapter to help with that transition. I think that's why the iPhone did it right and the MacBook didn't. But look, everybody's starting to use USB-C. I just had to buy an external hard drive, and so many of the ones that I was looking at that were built in the last year were already using USB-C.
It's just a better port.
It is a better port. It's
undeniably
a better port.
Yeah.
And you know what? Eventually, Bluetooth will undeniably be a better mobile audio experience. Nothing is going to be analog wired headphones when you're home. But like we said before, I don't think anybody cares about that stuff when you're traveling. I mean, for God's sake, the Bose QC35, like those noise-canceling headphones that people consistently use for airplanes and stuff like that, they're $350 headphones, are wireless. They are Bluetooth headphones, and they're not wired. Like, a lot of these companies are already making the shift, whether you're ready or not, and it feels like you're getting left behind, and that sucks. I'm not going to deny that.
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with where technology's gonna take me. There's nothing we can do. I'm gonna end up an old fogey who's like, "You kids and your technology. I don't know." You know what? Yeah. You know what's funny about that though? It's way off topic, but I had friends come back from Vietnam. They were there for 2 years, and they came back and they had no semblance of like new technology. It took them like 2 months, and they knew everything. They were up to date. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any excuse for old people. I think screw old people. And no, no.
Mrs. Barry, he's talking shit about you again.
Oh, my mother is very tech savvy. I would not let her not be.
The other thing is we have video. We have Bluetooth headphones that sound kind of like skull candies, and I know anybody that's in high school in the chat right now knows what skull candies are, and
Oh
they're
my
probably
God.
like their go-to headphones.
Yeah.
They sound almost identical to skull candies. They're $15.
I'm gonna
And they're
do
completely
that
wireless.
test. I am gonna do that test.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up some nice Bluetooth headphones, and I'm gonna test them against an audio jack and then against each other in the AirPods, and let's see what, at least for me, what sounds better, and then what is a good, because we're gonna have to make the shift. What's the best ones you can get? And if I swear to God, if I end the video recommending AirPods, I'm deleting my channel. I seriously mean it. Because that's just,
Oh, why isn't this Twitch so somebody can clip that? Xbox, record that. Oh my God.
because that is just too far. All right.
One of the reasons why I'm laughing so hard is because I think you actually
Oh
might.
no.
if you asked me what my favorite Apple product was, hands down, regardless of the phone I'm using, it's AirPods. And I
Yeah.
hate saying that. It makes me look like such a
Apple fan.
I don't want to say that, but they're
Yeah.
actually good. All right, whatever.
The 10th reason is that their lineup is super simple and their stores and customer service is excellent. Alright, well, if we're going to talk first about the lineup, it's not as fragmented or as confusing as Google's lineup or Samsung's lineup or Microsoft's lineup. Everything is sort of really clear. If for example, if you want a phone, you just get the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 7 Plus. It's either you want a big phone or you want a small phone. It's either you want a dual camera or a single camera. Depending on your needs, it's just two different choices. Very simple. Whereas with Samsung, you have like 5 different Galaxies, 5 different configurations, maybe even more than 5, maybe 10, 15 configurations.
Holy crap.
And it's very confusing. You just don't know what to do. If you're not a tech enthusiast, you might not know which device is right for you. Whereas with Apple, it's very clear. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this video.
I
Go
think
ahead.
I think it's odd that he ended with a bash on Samsung, because they're very, very Apple when it comes to like the way they market and everything. Like, yeah, okay, I was talking with my mother about this just like 2 hours ago, and she was asking about TVs at Walmart, right? I said, you notice how they say Samsung, but they say like, you know, because Samsung's got like the Samsung E something, the Samsung F something. But you know, like you go to Walmart, you see the Samsung QRB72 or something, and you're like, wait a minute, I've never heard of that brand before, right? Or that model, and you look it up. It's hardly even a Samsung TV, right? So if he's talking about, because essentially what it is, they just slap Samsung branding on a Walmart TV and then it looks really good, blah, 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 blah. The same thing will happen with phones when you get like Samsung models, just not as good as the ones you sell at Best Buy or Verizon or Sprint or wherever you're getting your phone. But I don't think the average consumer is seeing that. Really, they sell one or two just the same way, right? And the Razer phone, there's one. The HTCs, they were all pretty straightforward. I don't know if this one's a very fair jab.
It used to be a good argument. Back in the days of like the Galaxy Round, Jesus Christ, do you remember that?
No.
The Note 4 Edge. There was a time when Samsung was they were just throwing shit at the wall to see what stuck. The Galaxy Round was a curved phone. The LG Flex was a curved phone that could bend. Like, it was Bendgate before. It was like a phone meant to survive Bendgate 2 years before that even happened. They were just throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck. And we actually got the Note line out of it, because the Note line actually, people wanted a bigger phone, and it worked. And they kept running with that. What I think he's going at now is, if you were to buy a Samsung phone, like today, right? You might think that you only have 3 options. You have the S9, the S9 Plus, and the Note 9, right? So you've got those 3 premium options. If you are not in the range for a $700 minimum phone, Samsung actually makes budget models. If you've ever been to like a prepaid store, or like if you ever sold any of the prepaid phones at Walmart or anything like that, those were the phones, right? They're made by Samsung. They're called like the Galaxy Prime, Galaxy J3, Galaxy J7, and these phones come out yearly. So Samsung ends up making a lineup of around 10 models, 3 of which are the only ones the public hears about, and then the rest are all prepaid kind of phones. I don't think that's what he's going for, so I'm not going to say that he's right. But I kind of get what he's saying. It makes it even the J3 and the J7. It means that you are selling 5 phones instead of Apple's 2, or at least what was 2 up until now, where you have the XS, the XS Max, and now the XR, which is a decent budget offering. But I don't think it's nearly as fragmented as what he was saying. I think what it comes down to, the reason why updates don't go out as fast is because you'll have carrier variants. Newsflash, the Verizon Galaxy S9 is not the same as the AT&T Galaxy S9. However, you can't say the same for iPhones. It's almost identically the same phone. I think there's 2 different variants of iPhone that you can get. Like talking about one specific XS, one specific 64 gig gold XS. There are about 2 variants that you can get. I think one's international, one's US domestic. When you go into Galaxies, you have almost 1 per carrier per region. It's insane, and it's part of why the updates are so slow. When I was saying that the updates were fragmented because of different variants, that's why. There's like 10 different models of the Galaxy S9, and anybody in the chat who's been on XDA and has tried like rooting their phones in the past knows that you have to find exactly which carrier version of the phone that you have, and then look inside that to see what ROMs are compatible with it, if you can root it, etc. It has to be compatible with that variant of phone. So I don't, and it sucks because like technically he's correct, but I don't think that's what he's talking about. That's the best way that I can put it.
And I would even argue though, because that's like way more in depth than the average consumer even knows. But I would argue even if Samsung did come out with like 5 to 10 models for like just any, I think wouldn't that be cooler? Because what is it that it's more options to the consumer is a good thing, especially when they're all different. And if you want a Samsung phone and you're, I don't know, kind of on a lower budget, they got a $500 option or a $300 option, whatever. It's kind of cool. But
you end up flooding the market.
Yeah, you do, and I don't really like that as much. So
right, I would rather you put all your resources into a premium phone than make a million different budget ones. This is partly why I thought iPhones were doing a good job with a budget phone like the SE. What happens with iPhones is when the new ones come out, like the XS and the XS Max, the previous generations drop by $100 every year. The iPhone 8 now starts at $599. Right,
which is
so
smart.
If you're in the market,
that's smart.
Yeah. So if you're in the market for a $599 phone, the iPhone 8, which is a last year phone, is now an actual option for you. The iPhone 7 starts at $499. Like it's, I like that model better, where you're getting last year's tech for a cheaper price than I do someone getting like a cheaper Snapdragon processor that was also made this year. It's okay. Think of it like this: you would never buy like a GTX. Like 1030 or whatever that is, you know what I mean? Like the budget video cards. It's like a GT 1030 or something like that. Am I right? You would never buy that. Instead, you would want to get like the flagship from a year or 2 before. You know what I mean?
Yes, and actually, yeah, that's exactly what I did when I first built my my very first PC. Is that very same thing?
Yeah,
I had a GTX
I think that's
760.
a much better option than getting something that was made this year but scaled down to fit your budget. I think it's better to use that budget to buy something that was from last year that still kicks its ass.
Yeah, I like that model a lot better. And I will say, and I've always said this actually, even in my videos about hating Apple, I even said this, is their marketing strategies they're crazy smart. They're a crazy smart company, and they do a lot of things right when it comes to their marketing and how they manage their products. And I can't find a way to disagree with that.
Yeah, one of the things that Jobs did when he came back to the company, and this is way, way, way too far, is Apple was offering too many options. So he dumbed it down. He dumbed down the entire computer lineup back in the, I think it was late 90s, early 2000s. He made a consumer desktop and a consumer laptop and a pro desktop and a pro laptop, and that was their entire lineup. They had 4 different options, and that was it. And this was before phones, obviously. And it worked. And I think Samsung's starting to do that same thing. Instead of offering things like the Galaxy Round and just like all these random Galaxy phones, do nothing, they finally come down, and all the carriers, or not all the manufacturers are doing this. There's a reason why OnePlus offers like one phone at a time. Sometimes I think they go too fast, but Razer offers one phone at a time because they want to focus all their resources into one product and make it a really good product. I'd rather have one fantastic product than 5 decent products.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he was getting at. Well, I don't think that's what he was getting at, but I think that's the best way of explaining it. Let me see.
Let me know if you enjoyed. Tomorrow I'm making a really cool
Okay, that's the end of the video.
Yeah, that was the end.
This does not deserve 39 dislikes. This does not deserve a 50-50 ratio, at least in my opinion. Do you disagree?
No, I think a lot of his points were pretty good.
They're pretty valid.
There were a few things. I mean, we saw like in the middle there. There were a few things.
Sure,
like,
the design and the thinness, I can totally disagree with that. But those are 2 points out of 10. I don't think that every point that he made about updates, every point that he made about fragmentation, stuff like that, should have garnered a 50% dislike ratio. I think that's kind of, oh, he says he likes Apple. Let's dislike it.
Screw him over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did an all right job with that video, and I'm glad to have seen it. I should have probably watched it before, but it ended up being like a pretty good video to talk about it anyway.
I want to go over your videos so bad.
Okay.
Because I haven't. I should make it clear. Like I haven't seen your recent I Hate Apple one.
You haven't seen my most recent one? Mm-mm. Awesome. Okay. Well, how about this?
Yep.
We are. I'm pretty much like done for the night.
Yeah. No, you're good. So did I have to pee?
Yeah, me too. I was like,
Dude, do you want to go together?
I was like, would it be rude if while he's talking, I got up really fast and ran?
I just make a point. You just go take a piss while
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
like, while I'm
And then I come back and I'm like, yeah, I think
a
that's
great
pretty
point.
fair.
I
Like,
think-
yeah, that's a pretty fair point. Hashtag relatable. Yeah. But so we're gonna go for today. But I really do want to come back. I want to do this at least one more time. We'll go through the 4K video. We'll go through my video. And you've offered me a lot of information that I'm going to have a lot of fun digging into as well. So
Do you have a mission for me?
a mission for you, I would say.
Like something that I can report back with the next time that we do this.
No, we've kind of got a plan. How about come up with a better title for our stream? Than...
Okay, look, maybe if it was my channel, I would give a
Well, then I can't rely on you for anything, so we're good.
Yikes! All right.
I'm just messing around. How about all you have to do next Saturday when we stream, play some Mario Party with us. We'll get drunk and play some Mario Party.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're
I'm down.
available.
Well, actually, that is. Let me see. Yeah, that's 3 days. You're gonna hate me.
Why?
There's one more thing that I should show you.
Oh?
It's gonna make everybody so mad.
Okay, I'm ready. What's up?
Give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Because it's the day before that.
Oh no, are you like going to get the new iPhone? I'm like, the day it comes out, I swear to God. I swear to God.
Why are you so mad at me, Barry?
I'm not mad, I'm just like...
You don't even know what I'm gonna show you.
I'm pretty sure I do. Maybe I'm wrong.
Don't even know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Why do you immediately assume it's an iPhone?
Because we've been talking about Apple phones for the past, like, 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 9 seconds.
Oh, has it really been that long?
Yeah, it shows me my time on YouTube. Oh. Oh, no. Okay, so then what are you doing with your previous phone? Which one do you have?
The 10.
The 10. What are you doing with that one?
I am selling it.
Ship it to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, ship it to me, and I'll do like a review.
You gonna pay the $900 for shipping?
Oh, are you asking $900 for it?
Yeah, it's a 256 gig with Apple Care, so yeah.
Okay, well
That's the only reason why I'm doing it, because if I get $900 or 800, right? That means that I got the 10s or the 10s Max for only. What,
I don't
400
care
more?
about it that much. If it would have
No,
been
I'm kidding.
like,
If you want, you know what? Fuck it. If
no, you sell it. You sell it. You're gonna get some money back for it.
I'll sell it. I'll sell it after you send it back to me. Why don't you do a review on my 10? Do you think that would be a good idea considering everything else is that's right?
I don't know. It would be fun. It'd be fun to do.
Huh. Like you can just I don't know, you can just review it and see what iPhone's like.
I'll review it against my Razer phone and we'll see what happens. We'll talk about that after the stream.
Okay.
We'll talk about that after the stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. There was around like almost 400 when we started. I'm really glad because that was 400 people who can welcome Dev back into YouTube. And I can't wait to see your next video.
I can't wait to show it to you. I can't wait to get it done.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Well, thank you guys again, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
See you guys.